talk, bro. You got to start a clubhouse platform with this too.
Oh,
I know y'all doing it. Yeah, for real. Because it's a lot of like-minded individuals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm the young nigga, but I'm just saying, like, do that, man, because that'll work.
Yeah, nah.
Like a lot of people need to build a network. You feel what I'm talking about?
What's that Twitter Spaces thing that just dropped too?
Exactly.
Nah, they doing the same. Yeah, they doing that. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm on Twitter Spaces when it comes to the battle rap community. So there's a group called EFM. EFM is on point. Yeah, they all over it.
I follow Smacking them.
Yep. Definitely, man.
Tay Rock, the homie. I just talked to Tay Rock and Surf.
Well, yeah, Surf and Tay Rock be in the Spaces, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't follow it like I used to. Like I follow it on a certain level, but I don't go crazy with it like I used to. Like when I was younger, I was in college.
Yeah. Listen, battle rap has grown so much. Like it's triple at this point now. It's
going crazy.
Yeah, it's the whole industry.
Yeah.
It's going crazy.
Definitely an industry right now, man. The way it's growing and all that.
Right.
For sure.
You saw B Dot versus Charlie Clips.
I saw that.
Nah, I seen some clips from that.
Yeah, I saw that.
B Dot the God, that boy.
That third round was crazy.
There's some young boys. I like them. I rock with Twerk. You know? I like them. I love that.
Well, let me let the audience know we're just trying to work out some technical difficulties with Revolutionary. Dr. Baruti, he's still working out a few things, so hopefully we get that fixed and then we'll keep going. Till then, we're just chopping it up. Appreciate everyone joining in, watching. What's up, Rodney? Rodney, I see you. What's going on?
Uncle Wolf.
That's COVID-19 shutting down the internet.
Yeah, it's trying to do a lot.
Real talk, bro.
What's up, Joy? Yeah, it's trying to do a lot. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's a
fact.
They
gonna tell you get the vaccine, man, so you can get ready.
They got that Omicron internet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that Omicron
shit, man.
Marion.
Yeah, my homegirl called him Marion. He said she was Chris, like Omarion's dancing all over the United States.
Right.
Facts, though.
Peace.
What's going on, Tamara? What's going on, Kwanzaa?
Peace, King.
Kwanzaa.
Peace to all the kings.
Well, I'll talk about you later. But yeah, man. We're trying to work out the technical difficulties. We have a major Teddy Riley situation. You know what I'm saying?
Major.
To end 2021.
Man, in 21. Chris, you on quarantine right now, right? Like,
yeah, man. No symptoms, feeling just fine.
Yeah.
I was on the way to the crib, but before I saw my grandmother, decided to go ahead and just take a let me see what's going on test.
Word.
Came back positive right before I was going to get on the road to the Low Country, and I was just like, shoot.
Man. What's up, Kayla? I got Weez. I don't know Gary Salters. That's oof life right there. Weez in the building. Yeah, man.
My 16-year-old daughter was supposed to come down, man, for winter break from New York, man, and she felt a little under the weather. Got to go get tested and all that, and she couldn't get a test, bro. The lines is wrapped around the corner, man. I had to cancel the flight, man. New York is crazy, yo, bro. New York got the most precautions, and then they also got the most cases. It's like
that's crazy.
LA like that. Charlotte done got crazy like that.
Yeah.
You feel me? All that shit, man. That shit crazy. Like, it's just you got to be vigilant with it, bro. I had to my dad almost passed from that. I had to drop everything in my life. I had to go handle my business with it. You know what I mean? And there's some real stuff going on. Like, we gotta stay vigilant, stay locked in with that.
Word.
Because if not, then we're gonna lose people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got a brother named Ket Waz. I'm not sure if you know Ket Waz, but yo, he's on it when it comes to the herbs and the supplements to keep your body on point, no matter what type of disease or contagion is out there. I mean, he's he has us right. So I talked to him today. We're going to do another broadcast.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can. I think some people didn't really listen the first time or the second time, maybe even the third time. So we got to come back around and be like, listen, I'm telling you, these things work. The holistic medicine works. It definitely can address things like this. So,
especially the Omicron, man, because it's not as strong. Like it's basically like cold, man. Like
it's
more. It's like weaker than the flu. This new thing.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Because
but
I'm sorry. No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
Nah, because I've been telling folks, man, I don't feel anything. Like literally, I wouldn't have even known that I had Omicron if I didn't just go take like a emergency test.
Right. We're trying. Dr. Baruti, can you hear us? We can see you, but it's still frozen a little bit. Not sure, man. We can't let this stop.
I can hear you or it's scratchy, but I can hear you.
Yeah,
I sent
you. It's still.
You sent me something.
Yeah, it's choppy still.
It's bad. It's choppy bad.
What's them books he got in the background though?
See what I'm saying?
That's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's what we want to get to. He wrote so many books. His Akobit Institute, he's a revolutionary. So it's hard to. That's why I really want to get to this information. Oh wait, but he has another one. Hold on. Hello, Miss Maruti.
Greetings, brothers. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Doing well.
Oh, that one froze a little bit too. No, come on, we're trying. Reward us for the hard work. Yeah, man. That's
Wi-Fi, a real thing, bro.
We're trying to work through. But yeah, his books, like I got a few of his books right here, just right off. Can you
hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you. It's frozen, but we can hear you a little bit, but it's choppy.
Yeah, man. I had looked up some of his books.
Mm-hmm. The fact you can hear them means
I want to hear this Warriors.
It's going in and out. We can hear parts of your sentences, but that's it, and then it goes right back out, and the screen is still frozen. What about the phone option or a tablet? I think if it's blocked, Dr. Baruti, you might have to go into your settings and give it permission.
Nah, this ain't. We getting this. We making this happen.
Yeah, we got to make this happen. There's too much knowledge, man. Like I have a few of his books right here, like Centered. We'll talk about some of the things he talks about in this book. We got Iwa, another book he wrote. This is Fire. We got Asafo, another book.
I seen that one.
Yeah, this is
another one. Warriors Love and message for warriors or something.
Yeah, that one too. I just recently got this one. I'm about to read this one next. K Buka. And he has way more than that. I mean, he's probably written 30 books at this point. And that's why we really want to get him on here so we can hear his perspective. You know, we can learn some of his wisdom and knowledge, man. Baba Amin will join us in a little while too. Probably at the 8:30, 8:45 mark, and he's loaded with knowledge too. So it's really set up to be a good night. We just got to get Joe Biden's internet to tighten up. That's what we got to do.
Shit, well, let's lock in together. Shit, everybody's on here right now. Let's lock in.
Let's go. So one of the things we were going to talk about, since we are in the middle of Kwanzaa, we were going to talk about and discuss the principle, the whole point of it. And so we can start off with how y'all feel until Dr. Baruti, till we get that that going. How do y'all feel about Kwanzaa? What are your thoughts?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I think.
We can hear you, but it's still in and out.
Yeah, it's still freezing.
Mm-hmm. But listen, Tanya, I appreciate you. Kayla.
Okay, so she's gonna. We tried the phone. We tried the computer. She's gonna go get the tablet.
Okay, that sounds good. Yes, sir. That'll work. We are patient. We have no problem waiting. No problem at all.
I don't know what we're doing wrong, but I apologize.
It's no problem, Dr. Baruti. We will wait. It's no problem at all. I'm honored. I'm honored you're even here, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Much respect.
I'm honored too.
Yeah, much respect.
Straight up.
So yeah, while he situates Kwanzaa, I think there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to Kwanzaa. For instance, it's not a religious holiday by any stretch of the imagination. It's not in competition with the Jewish holidays or Christmas or anything like that. This is a cultural celebration of 7 principles that made our people great prior to 1619, and we're trying to revive and practice those principles to restore ourselves back to where we need to be, and that's the whole point. So, okay, I like that, Kenny. Dr. Baruti, in the meantime, what if you just turn off the video part and just try to use audio, and that's it, and maybe that'll help with the sound. Okay. If you just do audio and turn off the video. Okay, let's do a sound check. Dr. Baruti, can you hear us? Still in and out. Okay.
I just turned off the camera.
Mm-hmm. It helped a little bit, but it's still choppy.
I can hear you, or can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We can hear you. It's just choppy at times.
Yeah, we hear you.
It might be where he is in his house.
He says he's right by the Wi-Fi too, like he's right by the modem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody that's watching. Thanks for your patience. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate everybody.
You all are frozen.
Look, I was about to say the same thing. What browser is he using? If he's using Safari, so this one works with Safari.
Safari is the one. Yeah.
I don't know if he has MacBook though. He might have a Windows, a Microsoft laptop.
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's gonna work out. It's only 8:25. He's going. I'm confident it's all gonna work out. But yeah. So one of the things we wanted to get into was just kind of getting some balance when it comes to Kwanzaa. Today is Nia, the principle of Nia, and Nia is talking about purpose, and that purpose being as a collective, we make our number one priority the restoration of our people back to our traditional greatness. Period. Making that our number one priority as a group. That's what we do. And so if I always say this, if you're a person who's trying to figure out what you're trying to do with your life, like what does your life mean? What's the foundation? Part of that is going to be, what's up, Freddie? Part of that is going to be something in line with helping our people get back to where they need to be, to a higher state, a higher level of life. That's the whole point. And we know what we're up against. There's some elements in this world, some ideas and concepts that go directly against who we are, what we're about, what we're capable of, and we're supposed to be fighting against that. Part of that is going to be, what's up, Freddie? Dr. Baruti, that looks good.
Yeah, that looks good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You're in now.
Okay, this is the tablet.
There we go.
The revolution will be televised, baby. Let's go.
So I'm afraid to turn anything off here.
Don't turn nothing off.
Okay.
Don't turn nothing off. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
So as long as you all can hear me, that's good. Well, it seems like the picture's coming through the computer and the voice is coming through the tablet.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay,
We're good. We're good.
We will make it work. So first and foremost, we appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. Time out your schedule. and working out the technical difficulties. It's an honor to have you aboard and to have you share time with us. Hopefully we won't bombard you with a whole lot of questions, even though I have a lot, because I want the knowledge to be spread. I want everyone to learn some things tonight. Yes, sir.
And it's an honor to be here. I mean, it's like I suddenly feel like I'm aged because I'm looking at folks who must be in their 30s and 40s. And I remember when.
Yes, sir.
It gets to a point now when I'm getting ready to say something, I say, well, I need permission from the elders to speak, and I'm looking around, and I'm like the oldest one there. So, but it's good to see this. It's good to see warriors. You know,
yes,
it's always good because I'm not gonna be here forever. You know,
yes,
and of course, I'm not expecting to leave anytime soon, but I'm not gonna be here forever, and it's good to know that the work will continue, and it'll continue in a great variety of ways.
Yes,
it's an honor to be here. I'm enjoying this, and we haven't even started yet.
We definitely appreciate your time. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely, appreciate that.
Your contributions to the movement, struggle, and to the fight. For those, we have some people who are watching who might not be as familiar with some of your work. I held up. I have 4 books right off the bat. I have the Asafo book, and you're not going to remember because you meet a lot of people, right?
Right, absolutely.
Back in like 2000, I can't remember what year exactly, 16 or 17, somewhere in there. Irritated Genie had a conference, and you were one of the speakers. And
here in Atlanta?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Church of Black Madonna.
The Warriors Conference.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I remember asking you about this book right here. I said this was the first book I bought of yours and I read, and you were good. I mean, excited that I read the book, but you told me this is good, brother. But what you need to get is this book right here.
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir. Can you tell us a little bit about this book that I'm holding up right now?
Okay. Well, I'll talk about that one through Asafo.
Okay.
Asafo, of course, was written first, and every book that I've written has been based upon, a question from the community, something that I didn't think was clear enough.
Okay.
So the idea of manhood was problematic. In this is Atlanta, but the idea is problematic. So I wrote Asafo, and I thought I was doing good. I'm looking around. Then something happened one evening. There were, I guess it was about 5 youngsters. Between I'd say like 12 and maybe 15, they came to the house, and we knew them all, but they came to the house and they wanted to talk to me. So I said, okay, we sat down, and they wanted to complain. They wanted to complain about being disrespected. And they were saying that the elders in the community were not, thankfully excluding UNIAACL, but the elders in the community were, not listening, not showing them the level of respect that they thought that they should receive, and they were giving them respect. So I said, okay, and I listened and everything, and then I went and talked to several of the elders who I knew, and they had the same complaint about them. So I said, okay, well, the problem is apparently one of character. The problem is one in terms of us fulfilling our roles, all the rest of this good stuff.
Right.
I said, either we never knew the rules, the guidelines that our ancestors set down for us, that those people who we honor set down for us, or we knew them and we forgot about them. So that led to the writing of Iwa, because as I looked around, it really became part of my attention that character, still, to me, character is our biggest issue.
Yes, sir.
We have, I talked to, and all of this is leading into the book. I talked to an elder in New Orleans. Well, he's near New Orleans. And he had a men's study group there, and the men's study group was maybe 25, 30 years old. So he had brothers in this study group for, a decade plus some, and they had read all of our classics. They read Chance to Win, they read John Henry Clark, they read Memory, and they, of course, had discussed them. And every year they did a fundraising thing for a local Black business that needed assistance. They would, whatever it was. So there's a group got together to decide what they were going to do, and they decided on a raffle. And they decided they wanted to raffle this widescreen TV, and I forgot what the other thing was. And, everybody was in agreement about that. And the treasurer said, well, we don't have the funds. We don't have the money to buy that. And one of the guys got up and he said, well, let's just say that we have the widescreen. Let's just say that we have this other thing. We can sell the tickets, and then we'll have somebody who we know be the person who wins this, and we can just collect the money and give it to the person. And of course, giving the money to the business was a good idea, but he was in shock because he said, we've read these people. We've read these people talk to us about character. And it clicked to him at that time, there's been a disconnect. Even though we read, it hasn't become part of who we are. It hasn't become part of our day-to-day actions. We know this stuff, right? But we're not applying it. We know this stuff, but we're not internalizing it to the point where it's our normal, natural action. And as I'm looking around the community, and as I looked around the community then, not just Atlanta, but I looked around, and I saw a lot of this. And it wasn't making sense to me. Like I said, either we don't know the rules, we don't know the guidelines, we don't know Ma'at, we don't know the principles, we don't know Warriors rules, or we learned them and conditions, turned us hard and we've kind of forgotten about it. Right. So when I finished with Iwa, what it presented to me was more important than what Asafo. That's not to say that Asafo isn't important. It's a fundamental, basic definition of manhood. And of course, I say it's for the sisters as well, because our sisters, as well as our daughters, they need to know what to look for in a man. Plus, there were a couple of books out there were about manhood, and I'm trying to make this story short as well. When I was coming up, that was during the 60s, and there was a lot of boycotting and all the rest was going on. And, I thought I had this brilliant idea. The Safeway, I'm from DC, so there's Safeway there. This is racist grocery store. So of course I'm upset, and I said, we need to boycott Safeway. I'm telling my mom and dad, we need to boycott Safeway. And mom, mom, dad looking, that's a great idea. Do this, do what needs to be done. I said, my mother, she said, though, you have to remember, if you're going to stop black folks or tell black folks not to shop here, you have to have some place where they can buy whatever it is that they need that comes from that place at the same time. You just can't tell them to stop because they're going to go back. So at the time that I wrote Asafo, there were a number of books out on manhood, which to me were weak, for lack of better words. They were extremely weak books. And that thought occurred to me. So one of the main reasons behind Asafo was, I can tell people don't read those books, but okay, what are you supposed to read? Right. So that was one of the main forces behind Asafo, as well as, to me, I saw, things about manhood that were very questionable, very, very questionable. I would see sisters leaving events, pushing strollers, going to their car, which was half a block away, and no brothers were going with them. And this is, it's dark outside. I saw a situation where in a dance studio, one of our dance studios, the light outside of the girls' bathroom, women's bathroom, was out, and I'm watching this little girl walk toward the bathroom. I'm in the dance. Iniya and our daughter were in dance class, and that's when I do my best editing when the drumming's going on, and I'm watching this little girl walk toward the bathroom, and because there was no light, she disappeared before she got into the door, because it was so dark in that area. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if I was one of them people, then it would have taken me maybe 5 seconds to get her out of here, and no one would ever see her again. I'm looking around, I'm seeing brothers, they're chatting and but they're not paying attention to security. Right. So for me, that's very, I didn't think I was odd. I was brought up in a home where the man provides and protects. And I have a problem with it. That doesn't mean that the woman can't provide as well, but the man's primary job is to provide and to protect. So I was having some issues with, the brothers, and I preached and I preached and I preached. I guess it began to register maybe 6 or 7 years later. So now it's a different situation, at least within the center, the conscious community here. But at that time, it's like, you have to go tell brothers, well, we need to be on security with this. And that's not something to me that you should have to tell, but that should be automatic.
Automatic, yes, sir.
I don't care whether you armed or you around the door, whatever. Every man who's there, whatever the event, whatever the occasion, whatever it may be, is security, as far as I'm concerned, period. I shouldn't have to call any special forces to do that.
Correct, sir.
So that really led to the writing of those two. And if I may extend this forward a teeny bit, and I'm very pleased with Iwa, and this isn't the extension, but I'm very pleased with Iwa. I'm very pleased with how a number of parents are reading it along with their sons. I haven't heard any reading with their daughters yet, but reading it with their sons as part of their curriculum, as part of their school curriculum. When Iwa was done, there was a brother in the community of means who asked me to write a book. I'd never been asked to write a book before, but he asked me to write a book for the young guys out there. He said, because you got like end notes in Iwa, you know, out of the odds, you got all of these words, you got the terminology, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Even though I think it is readable, and I think the warriors need to study and they need to pull out the dictionary so that we can manage, you know, what have you.
Right.
But I understood his point. So I said, but I'm writing something right now. But he paid me to sit down and write Message to the Warriors, which was the first book that I had written without any end notes. And the goal was to do what had been done in Asafo and Iwa without being overbearing, without telling these brothers, these young brothers, what to do. Just, okay, this is how men behave. This is how warriors behave. And of course, you have the choice to do this or not. But still, I'm telling you, this is how it's done through my eyes. And if you can see through my eyes, then you can maybe modify what you're doing to fit that. And everybody, of course, doesn't need to know, but you can still be a warrior without having to broadcast it to the world.
Right.
So that Asafo, Iwa, and Message to Your Warriors, that's a line of books. It's not they are connected in a particular way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm definitely appreciative of the work that you put in. I didn't grow up in an environment to where people were teaching me manhood principles from an Afrocentric perspective at all. And I don't think the United States, of course, is set up that way anyway. So if you don't have parents that understand the ways and grew up in the ways, you're going to miss those lessons 100%. Yeah, so one of the things I ran across when I was first discovering we've been lied to and there's a different culture that we practice and it was great and we had all these different principles and constructs, you learn that, but it's like, where do I find more of the information detailed out to where I can now start to apply some of this stuff and learn more? And that's what Iwa provided for me, especially your section when you talked about becoming a human. Just that whole understanding of you're not just automatically born a human being. That must be developed. There's certain characteristics that you must develop. How did you discover, or what was the process by which you learned all the terms and put it all together as far as the being a human?
Well, that human aspect of it, I mean, I've read a lot on traditional African society, particularly spiritual systems, and that comes out a lot. That comes up a lot. The idea of being human. For me, I'm always, as a sociologist, my job is to look for the problem. My job is to assess the problem and to I'm not supposed to come up with solutions because then it becomes non-academic, but that's what I attempt to do. In the history of sociology, the problem is us. We're the problem. So usually we study in Black folks, usually we study African people because we're the problem. That got flipped around with me by a number of scholars. Amison Wilson, Marimbani, Francis Cress Welsing, John Harry Clark. They got flipped around to the point, and Nathan Hare and Julia Hare. It got flipped around to the point where I'm looking at them as the problem. I'm looking at every aspect of them that we applaud. I would strongly suggest, as maybe a starting point, that brothers pick up a copy of Dirt by I'll think of the author in a minute, but McLaughlin. Okay. His last name is McLaughlin. That book was banned in this country for a number of years.
Really?
It talked about how Europeans lived. before, the industrialization kicked in and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So that was one of the books and other things that led me to begin to look at them as the problem, which is where I should have been looking from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at their definitions. We got to look at their concepts. We got to look at how their worldview frames the world in such a way that it makes them look good, that it makes them look normal, that it makes them look natural.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at words like human, and it registered to me one of the things that they do so well and they work so diligent at is creating definitions for words that, again, normalize them, that make them the norm. If you are a people who, and I know that there's goodness and badness to everybody, but we talk about extremes. If you are people who are cannibals, if you are people who have so many serial killers, it's not funny. We need to understand that concept as well.
Right.
The number of so many things. The number of white males who were serial killers in the South who got away from it by blaming black men for it. So you have, and that's a teeny tiny bit, but you have. If you are a people that is full of serial killers, if you have a people who are rapists, if you have a people who did what they did to us, getting us over here, that of course is another discussion. And I strongly suggest that brothers attend my K-Buka lecture, which I do every November. It's the most important lecture to me that I do. And there's a long story behind that. But that book right there, I'm trying to not get off on a tangent, but that book right there, which was the next to smallest book, that was the hardest for me to write. If you've ever written anything, you know that as a writer, you have to edit stuff 30, 40, 50 times before it gets to the point where you want anybody to see it. So I'm sitting here, I've written this book about how we got from the point of capture to our arrival here, and I'm having to read this over and over and over and over and over again. When the day that the book went to the printers, my nervous system went out. I lost my ability to walk. I was in the emergency room, I don't know how many times. The day that it went to the printers, I was leaning across a coffee table on a pillow for nearly 2 months. I was sitting there writing, but for nearly 2 months, I couldn't move. I was on oxycodone. That was the first time I encountered the real concept of a drug addiction.
Wow.
And I planned on writing a book about what happened during the time of our enslavement, but after that, I said, "Oh no, I'm not going through that again." But that book really physically took me out. It took me out. I was off my feet for 3 weeks, and I was out of the classroom for 3 months.
Wow.
And I remember UNIAACL coming into the back room where I was at, where I was leaning over the coffee table, laying over the coffee table, and I heard her start to cry. And she was crying because she saw no definition in my legs. She saw no muscle definition in my legs because I'd been there for that long. Anyway, the human thing. So when a lot of your character is ground up in things that everybody else considers to be abnormal, everybody else considers to be atrocity, then you have to redefine things so that people come to look at you in a particular way. So if you're using the word human, that you're born human, which our ancestors didn't say that we were, that you're born human, then that means everybody's classified as that. It doesn't make a difference what you do. Our ancestors were clear on that. You wouldn't call somebody who's a serial killer a human, just like you wouldn't call a grown male who wasn't married, didn't have children in traditional African society. This is not traditional African society. But he was in traditional African society who hadn't gone through their rites of passage program, who hadn't gotten married, who wasn't having children. He wouldn't be considered to be a man. I don't care if he's 70. He wouldn't be considered to be a man because we are, I say repeatedly, we are people of evidence. We are people of evidence, which means that whatever you are said to be, because you're not walking around claiming I'm a man, it should be obvious from what you do, how you act.
Right.
We are people of evidence. We cannot claim something unless that's what we are doing. So back in the 60s and 70s, you heard a lot of conversation about brothers who, weren't in the home and they had babies by these women and said, well, you're not a man because you're not taking care of men's responsibilities. We forget at the same time, the same thing applied to women. They weren't taking care of women's responsibilities. The same thing applies there. And we have gotten to the point with Western society, because it's so image focused, which allows them to be human, which allows them to do all kinds of things that they want to do. So we have grown to the point where we're looking at image as a more important indicator of what we are than us actually doing it. Okay, so you see a European, and he'll try to lock his hair, what have you, and becomes African by default. We see a European who will put on an Indian, Native American, yes, I know, headdress, and by default, he somehow magically becomes a Native American, an Indian. So we've adopted that now too. So we're walking around claiming things that we're not, because we can say it, or it can't be disproven, or we're putting on the act of it.
Hey, big homie,
and I know, yes.
Not to cut you off, I swear.
No, you didn't cut me, no problem.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm gonna ask you a question, because I played 10 years in the NBA. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, born and raised West Boulevard.
Okay.
And got a mental health program and programs with my foundation I have for 11 years, Anthony Morrow Charities, AMOCharities.org. And the mental health program is a lot what you're saying. And it's a lot of young kids that's going through that don't understand it. Like you, the big homie, when you're talking about what you're talking about. Can y'all hear me and everything?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
And it's like conflicted with me, because it's not conflicted, but it's like I had to do it. I played that long, and then I've been retired for going on 4 years. So what you're saying is perfectly right. But I'm trying to get more people locked in with what I have going on, because I can tell them, I can give them that knowledge from my perspective. I'm 36 years old, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to do it sometimes because they not listening to that. But they are, but they not. Like, I got to be over there all the time. So my question is, and the information I would want is, what can, from my perspective, in my position, to get them the knowledge that you talking about, because I can do that. I'm doing it. It's working, but I need to continue to do it, because I don't want to drown them out with my voice, because I feel like that can happen. And I'm not saying that because I'm not saying the right stuff to my people, not doing the right thing. Shout out to my brother Greg, Maarifa, all them. But I'm over there. You know what I'm saying? They know where I'm from. They know exactly everything going on.
Sir.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm over there. I just came from over there. I'm in Atlanta now, stuck out of nowhere. But I'm my daughter's here. But real talk, I don't want to lose none of them. You see what I'm saying? And it's not like an easy. It's always on my mind. You know what I'm saying? Because I want them to know, like, look, I got you, and I got them. But it'd be like isolated. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always something happened. Hey, Amo gonna take care of it. Anthony gonna take care of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't need the news to come over there and all that type of stuff, but I'm gonna take care of it. You know what I mean? So that's my question to you. I don't need news. I need resources and people. That's why I love my brother Greg, my brother Maarifa. Like, they know what time it is over there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we've been working on. I want to get, that's my question. What do I need to do in terms of that to keep that going? You know what I'm saying? So they understand they can trust me, because trust is big. The kids over there and the community, like more the parents more locked in, because they start seeing they could trust that. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to get that information. That's all I didn't mean to cut you off. I swear. Sorry.
You didn't cut me off. No apology necessary. I want to say the sad part of this is more my answer. We want to. We have to realize. I think the magnitude of this monster that has put this in place. Right. That is orchestrating a lot of the thinking of the young folk. Right. You can't control that. That's the bad part. You can't control that. You can't stop that. If I could, I would have stopped it yesterday. If I knew that if I got rid of that one person, it would save African people or allow the young folks to listen to folks like you, then I'd do it. Mm-hmm. But this monster is in place. It is entrenched. It is a dinosaur. Mm-hmm. And this is not to say that anything is impossible. Okay? I grew up in a home where it says can't die before I was born. So that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have to be realistic and understand the forces that are arrayed against us are major. They are extremely well funded. They have the children's attention. They have the attention of those who the children are listening to. Mm-hmm. And they're not allowing anyone in there who's going to go against what they think or what they say or what they want them to say. You mentioned the word trust, which is the most important thing here. And time. Mm-hmm. There's so many things I want to say. When we are not controllers of time. Mm-hmm. We can't dictate how long it's going to take something to happen. What we have to do is continue to work at it. When we started Akaban Institute, there was literally no support in the community. Right. There was nobody, who running, here, take these books, take this, blah, blah, blah. But as time went on, people begin to develop trust in what we were doing. They begin to see the goodness in what we were doing. Mm-hmm. And they begin to trust that process. Right. So the support that we have now, we couldn't even have imagined 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago when ACA been started. Mm-hmm. The problem with that is that you see the problem and you want to solve the problem now because the problem is ugly. You want these children to trust you because you know that you can be trusted. But you know that these children, they need you and they need to understand but you can't dictate the time. You just have to do what you do. You have to continue doing what you do. Don't stop what you're doing because somebody's watching. Mm-hmm. Somebody, should I say, somebodies are watching. Right. They're watching you. They are listening. These young folks, and I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. I don't think these young folks are paying attention. These young folks want power, and they're not going to listen to somebody who does not have power. And when they see you having power, they're going to study you, and they're going to want to know where your power came from. I don't know how many classes I've had when I was teaching in Morehouse where I would have students in there who had no interest in sociology whatsoever, but they heard that this guy's a powerful professor, so they were trying to figure out how I had my power. Mm-hmm. Right. That's what they were in there for. Right. So the same thing with you. And you can't dictate. To me, it's like if I get one, I get one to understand.
Because one can understand, not to cut you, I'm sorry. I swear, big homie, like that's what I have been dealing with. I got one that might have been 7 years old. Now he's 16. Mm-hmm. It's been since 2008, 2009. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Nobody comes to my corridor, so I had to be that person. Mm-hmm. Greg know, Maarifa know, all that. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to that, I'm like, look, I ain't saying you're going to play in the NBA. I ain't saying you're going to be a famous rapper or whatever it is. But if I can get one, I'm going to lead 10 or 12 or 15 or 20. Because somebody going to get that information, that knowledge. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I put my glasses on. I ain't trying to be whatever, but I can't see because I ain't got no contacts. My contacts. I had to order my contacts. But it's real talk because I had to do that in 2008, 2009 to get people to understand that. Then they start coming down that where I'm from. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they say, look, you an NBA player. Look, bro, I had to use that platform just to get this information down here because y'all wasn't going to come down here and do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Y'all wasn't going to do it on your own. Only time you come down there is somebody get killed or somebody get beat up or some crazy stuff happen. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm really on the call. I'm blessed to be on the call, but I just want to get more information, like what I need to do more. I've been doing this for 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
I was doing it out of my pocket. They started giving us money. I'm like, look, I need to have y'all down here, and I will call y'all out. Y'all don't come down here and do it, because I'm gonna do it regardless.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm seeing the rewards of it. I'm seeing the kids start doing more stuff. They not thinking you gotta sell drugs or some stuff like that. They doing more stuff. They in college now. We getting people, you know what I'm saying, in college, all types of shit stuff. I just want to make sure that they continue to be able to do that, because it ain't like I got a team, but it ain't like I got like people down there all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not easy to figure that out at all times. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to leave it. And then you got to worry about people that's not really seeing the vision that got
trying to carry the torch.
Right, bro.
Carry the torch and don't got the vision.
Real talk, bro.
So Dr. Baruti, mine, you know, and we all work with youth, and we all do our due diligence. We work in our communities. We all have our respected organizations. And so for me, it's how do you balance being on the ground with people, but still understanding that people aren't the problem. It's the system that people are operating in. That's the problem, right? So I see this system, and it's a big dinosaur, right? Like you said, it's a big dinosaur. It's hard for me to stay focused on the ground sometimes, because I know so much stuff has to happen up top. So much stuff has to happen on this big mountain, and we don't have a lot of people of integrity that's of our color, that are making moves and bringing resources and bringing opportunities to our neighborhoods, right? And it's a battle for me to say, okay, I don't want to program people, right? Because I'm gonna send them back into this system, but then I'm gonna make a big systemic impact to where we can change something and be revolutionary in our approach. But how you balance that? How do you balance that? Because it sometimes it can drive one crazy, knowing that the bigger problem is not what we're addressing when we're programming kids and we're training kids up and showing them the right ways of how to live and how to be men and women in this society. But that's my question. How you balance that?
But I want to say that you are. I want to say that you are, because what you're doing, I mean, we come from a people who are 7th generation people. So it's the idea that whatever I do now, I'm going to do it based upon its impact 7 generations down the road. Right. I'm not worried about it having an effect right now. I'm worried about it 7 generations down the road, because I'm trying to build a future. And I could even be, you know, in a spiritual sense, I could be kind of selfish and saying, well, I want it to be better when I come back, you know, 7th generation from now. But it's like you're doing the work, you're implanting. Sometimes that's very frustrating to me too, as well. But you got to give them everything that you possibly can. To me, the worst possible thing would be for me to die knowing that there were things that I didn't tell the young folks. There were truths that I didn't tell the young folks in the way that I tell them. And so that's part of my promise. When I started doing this thing, I don't lie to my students. No lies come out of my mouth. I don't lie to my students. I'm not worried about the impact. I'm not worried about the consequences. And I'm not worried about what that system up there. I know what it's doing. And I you know, of course I keep track of it, but I know what it's doing. My job is to produce a caliber of people who can create a different reality, a reality that favors us, a reality that works to our benefit. So I really end up focusing most of my attention on them, their thinking, their minds, telling them our truth, even though of course sometimes it's like, you know, you can be talking to a wall sometimes, but to me, that's got to be the job. That's got to be, I've got to believe that they're going to change this. I've got to believe that I'm talking to, if we're genius, if we're walking around telling our children that they're genius, then we have to believe that. And we have to act on that. That doesn't mean they have to tell us that. Baba Amin, I see you're, and good to see you in person again.
Yes, sir. Baba Amin in the building.
Baba Baruti.
Yes, sir.
Mwalimu Baruti. It is an honor to see you again, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes. Peace and power to you. Peace and power to all the brothers on the panel.
Yeah, peace.
Excuse my tardiness, y'all. We just finished the Kwanzaa event here. Well, Brother Greg, I was that question you asked about balancing it. I felt that, because for years I was a grassroots organizer. I was the one that the people who got the $1 million grant hired to go deal with the black folks, or hired to go implement the program. And so the folks running the money ain't always the folks running the program, right? I think that's what you're talking about. That mountain is that executive board, that executive director, and folks that are out of touch, but they dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Then they say, all right, we got $1 million to do violence intervention. Call Greg.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're gonna cut off this much of the slice for Greg. You know what I'm saying? But Greg is delivering results, right? And if it just tell me if I'm wrong, a lot of results you deliver ain't really directly as a result of what they're providing you.
And that's right.
Like what they're providing you is that perhaps that paycheck, the substance to allow you to get some things done, but the core of what you deliver ain't even in their package.
It's not. It's
right?
not.
The extra conversations that you have to have, the something to eat, the things that you do to take care of those practical needs, right? So what I learned in my experience was I had to sit back and say, well, wait a minute, how much of this can I do on my own? What could exist in this program without them, right? Right? Because my whole key was I don't want to need y'all.
Yeah.
I don't want to need y'all, right? And so do a resource assessment. What can I provide, you know what I'm saying, without me being exploited and without their poverty being exploited? Because I used to work for a bunch of poverty pimps. You know what I'm saying? And I used to hate working for poverty pimps. All they wanted was names on a sign-in sheet. You know, and if you come in and say, no, this is really how we tackle the issue. No, that's not in the budget. That's not. We got a $3 million budget. Yeah, but that ain't in it. Right. And so when you're doing that, man, I would say balance it out by understanding that change and growth, and this is to Brother Morrow too. Change and growth is a process. It's not an event. Right. And what people need is consistency, food, clothing, and shelter, practical needs being taken care of, you know, put some things in place, some consistency in place that don't go away when the grant go away. Right. And then continue to seek funding. Take what you do, see the value in it, wrap your own brand around it, and go out there and get some independent resources. Talk to brothers that can help with private funding, figure out ways to build a program that's self-funded, self-refueling, you know, engage the brothers and the youngsters that you got with you. Say, you know what, y'all, we want to keep this thing, because I've done this. Yo, y'all, we want to keep this studio open. You know, we got to get out here and move the music. We got to get out here and raise some money. What y'all want to do? We got to make this happen. And that's kind of within itself too. You know,
sir,
put it in their lap.
That's real.
One thing I've learned and experienced is we ain't dealing with dumb people. When we helping our people, that don't mean you're dealing with dumb people. You're dealing with people who don't have resources. You know, people, you know, black, I say all the time, black folks ain't poor. We just spend our money poor. We need to teach our dollars and cents. You know, let go out there and put that challenge on them. Say, y'all like this, but I'm gonna give y'all the real. They don't want this is political. They'll snatch this. So we have to figure out a way to put this in the community without them, and we got to do it together. It can't just be on Greg or just on Anthony. Everybody, we got to do it together. What y'all want to do? Let's make this our program. Let's make this our initiative. Take on.
I want them to take that mentality and take that to what I'm doing. Like, but you got to connect. So I'm connecting because I'm connected. If that makes sense. You feel me? So I'm like, look, man, like at the end of the day, it ain't about no, I was doing this out of my pocket. You know what I'm saying? And I told him, I said, look, my auntie still live over here. I already got my last name in this community. It ain't nothing where I'm trying to do something to exploit the hood. You feel me? The hood already locked in with me. You know what I'm saying? And it's always been like that. but it's been hard to get connected. I had to call the news out. Hey, y'all don't come over here and let something crazy happen. Something good happen. Come over here to Beatty'sville Road. Come over here to West Boulevard. Come over here to where we at when something happened in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? They sending interns and stuff like that. Like, Greg know, Maarifa know how they do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how they do that. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, look, I ain't gonna get in my feelings. I'm gonna just keep like what you said was powerful. Because it's not like I got to the point, and everybody on the call, I'm gonna tell you how they had to think about this. If you gonna come over here, I'ma already have it done. I don't need you for nothing. They already know who I am, what we doing. They know the initiative. You feel me? And that's what everybody know, like with that, and that's the movement with that. It ain't got nothing to do with doing something because something happened. Like, nah, we proactive. There ain't no reactive stuff going on. You know what I'm talking about?
Because you know at the end of the day,
and then they come to you.
Not to cut you off, Anthony, but at the end of the day, most young people just want a safe space where they can be themselves. We be adding all the bells and whistles on it.
Right.
That's us adding all the extra. Y'all, we got 15 computers. Y'all, we're about to go to visit NASA. We do that. At the end of the day, young people want a safe space where they can be themselves.
Now that's cool. That's cool. I'm just saying, like, I had to get to a point mentally, and this for everybody, whatever. You get to a place where you do it and you don't have to worry about. They gonna see it anyway,
right?
So it's like just do this stuff, do it, and get them there, and then we gonna handle our business moving forward. And that's what I've been the last 12 years over in my hood. Like it ain't been no, you know, I should have been met Maarifa and Greg. I should have been around them. I should have been around all of y'all. But I was doing it like that because I'm like, who over there? Ain't nobody coming down that corridor doing nothing. Unless you got family or you play sports. Real talk. You feel me? And everybody can attest to that. That's real talk. Now they gentrifying it, all this. We a part of that now.
So I'm more the basis where it's like, I want to perform. Hold on, and I want to perform. I want to know, Dr. Baruti, have you ever been part of a boycott that was actually successful? You know, because
you know, our way has been a little different, even though I'm listening to the word independent over and over again, and that's the heart of all of this. Everybody's saying that independent. We need to operate independently. We need to do what we need to do ourselves so we can say what we need to say. And we started out like that as well. When we started Akabin, we said we didn't want anything from anyone. We had studied independent school. We had studied New Concept Development Center in Chicago. We had studied a number of other schools. So we wanted something like that. But one of the things that we found was that all of these schools had to have some source of income outside of tuition. I don't think any institution, I don't care what you're talking about, something elite, what have you, is bringing enough income for that school to survive off of the income. So that's what started, in a sense, me writing the books. But no matter what it was, we swore from day one that we would only be funding ourselves. You all are doing larger things than what we were doing. Okay, we had a school in our home. So we had, 15, 20 students here in this space, and we were able to control it in a particular way. But the heart of the matter, which doesn't differentiate me from anyone here, is that idea of independence was at the bottom line. We didn't care what was going to happen. There was a time we had 2 students here, but we weren't going to be we weren't taking any grants from anybody, because for us here in Atlanta, that entails something else. That
in Atlanta right now,
that we didn't want to deal with, and we weren't going to deal with. But the idea that you want to be independent, the idea that you refuse to have anyone else direct what you say, what's coming out of your mouth, to me, that's the heart of the matter. And that guides everything else that you do, whatever kind of grants you receive, whatever kind of people you have around you, because there are people, we've had a lot of people come here want to volunteer. Okay, I need to watch you in the community for at least a year before I begin to think about whether you're going to be anywhere around our children.
God, that's
Come on.
It's because that level of independence, that level of making sure that the children are clear when they leave here, I can only be responsible, for that.
Okay.
But we have never, and I understand when you're talking about larger things than us. Okay, I mean, you got all of you have larger things than what we have here. But for us, the promise to ourselves was that we would never take any money from anyone unless that person was politically in line with us, that they were crystal clear. And that's that time factor where that began to kick in 10, 15 years after we had started, because people recognized that we were serious, because we weren't allowing anyone to come in and compromise what we said. We weren't allowing anyone to come here and teach who was talking like a Negro. It wasn't happening here. It wasn't happening here. So that independence that you all are talking about, that was the heart and soul.
But Doc,
every one of our moves. Now, if we could find some grants, that fit in with that here in Atlanta, then we probably would have, even though I think we're a little bit beyond that now. But at that time, if we could find some that fit into that, we would have gladly taken them. But to have a grant where you can still say what you want to say, and often they can't hear what you're saying anyway.
Yeah,
right. They ain't trying to listen. They ain't trying to listen.
But that mindset right there, right? That's because I see a lot of grants that come down the system, and my organization, we take grants, but we only take grants for stuff that we can fund ourselves, right? So now it's just like there's a lot of people that don't have that mindset. So when, let's say, the government comes out with a grant where they're going to give everybody $1,000 or $2,000, I am of the belief that that's something we should boycott. How do you create that ecosystem with your village to where everybody's on the same mindset, and that psyche is, we ain't taking crumbs to do $1 million work. We're not taking crumbs to do $1 million work. And I feel like when we get into these conversations, we always got somebody or some groups that's just gonna go and say, I'm gonna take this $1,000, I'm gonna take this $2,000, I could do this with this. So what I'm asking is how do we change this mindset of we have people teaching our people financial literacy, but they have no financial independence, right? We got organizations that's teaching people are telling people you got to own where you live at, but we don't own the buildings that we operate in. You know what I'm saying? So it's backwards, and I'm trying to figure out how do we deliver this message so it's palatable for everybody, because some people, I know you understand where I'm going.
For the majority, it's not going to be palatable. For the vast majority, it's not going to be palatable. I don't care what you do, because they're not going to see you as the model. They're not going to see you as the power. They're not going to see you as the source. And they're trying to please the source. They're trying to get whatever they can get from the source. It's like the difference between power and influence. And influence means that you really don't see yourself as powerful. You think that your best chance is to influence the powerful to work on your behalf, versus somebody who's powerful. They know they're powerful. They act accordingly. Most of the we are around, they don't see power. They see influence. They misdefine power as influence. The vast majority of people who that would create this large community,
knowledge right there. That's real talk.
The vast majority aren't going to be able to walk the way you want to walk. So for me, I have walked the way I walk, assuming that those folks who are of the same mind will find me. They will come in this direction, and those are the ones that I want. Yes. Yeah. So the best warriors that I've encountered in Atlanta have been the ones who found their way to me, and they're stronger than me. But they were looking for it. And if I wasn't here, they wouldn't. And it's not ego talking here. I mean, I do what I'm supposed to do. But if I wasn't here, then they wouldn't have anything to latch onto, so that they'd have a place to build to create that community that you're talking about. What you're talking about has to be created. And it can't be created with anybody compromised. And if the vast majority of us are compromised, like they are in Atlanta, which is supposed to be the black mecca of consciousness, if the vast majority of them are compromised, then you have to set the model, the standard, so that those who are not have a place to go. They have someone to see. They got that light tower. Okay, they got that watch light that they can come to, and they will come. The problem with that is that that's not going to happen quickly. That's going to take some time. It's going to take some time, and we have to be real patient. We have to be, as they say all the time, we got to be patient with our people. Yeah, we got to be real patient. We have to be more patient with the warriors, because the ones who are serious, they're going to study you. They're going to take the time to study you to see how serious you are. They're going to look to see if you're going to compromise with this, if you're going to compromise with that. And when they feel confident enough, then they'll come in their own way. And I prefer to have one of them to 1,000 folks who are lost, who are trying to, get that dollar just to be getting that dollar without a political purpose behind it, without any meaning behind it. They just want to get the money. They're not trying to build a reality for us that's strong. They're not trying to build up any power. They're just trying to get some money. So those, even though it's distressing looking at them, it's maybe 5%, maybe 5%. I'm not going to give it more than that. Maybe 5% of the quote unquote conscious community in Atlanta is worth the melanin that it's in. Maybe 5%.
Woo!
I tell you like this, Big Homie, real talk. Big Homie, I tell you like this.
That 5% is crystal clear. That 5% doesn't play. That 5% will build. You say I need something, that 5% will be there. Okay?
Hey, Big Homie, I tell you, this is affirmation. Not to cut you off, this is affirmation. Because your generation of guys like you is like affirmation for guys like me and my generation. I swear to God, because I can put this knowledge. When I say this to them, the younger guys, the rappers, the entertainers, the basketball players, football players, all of those guys, the street guys, all of them, I say what you're saying, but I'm saying it from my perspective. And you saying it from your perspective is giving it to me. It give me affirmation. I gotta keep doing it. Because if they don't listen, they'll listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Because they like, we respect where you from, we respect what you had going on, we respect everything that it's a respect thing. And I need to hear that. I need to hear it from me to give it to them. Because I always say, like, anything I got going on, I can't teach nothing if I'm not still learning.
Say what?
This is huge. You know what I'm saying? For me, I ain't trying to cut you off for nothing. I'm sorry.
Well,
that's real talk. It's real talk. Like I gotta keep learning if I'm gonna teach something. You know what I'm saying? I'm still teaching myself all types of stuff.
Yeah, that power versus influence that power versus influence that you just broke down was
real.
That was amazing.
You know what I'm saying? Like influence and power are two different things. But if you got both, you gotta be able to use that in the right way.
Just like human and not human.
Real talk. I give it to him like that. I'm like, I can't have not. You gotta. If I don't have the knowledge, the influence, and the power, I can't have the influence that I'm saying I'm going to do anything. And that's real talk. And I needed to hear this.
And what warriors?
Y'all brought me on this call for real.
And what warriors need to understand is that without you all, there wouldn't be us. I wake up every day. And I'm glad for the warriors that I see online. I'm glad for the warriors, who are in our space.
Yes, sir.
That's motivation for us. It might seem sometimes like, we're leading, what have you. No, it's a circle. It's a serious circle. So, I mean, I have no respect for weak males, grown males who I have no respect. I don't want anything around me but warriors, and there are a lot of warriors who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, 50s, who I have an enormous amount of respect and who keep me going. I mean, there are difficult days.
Yes, sir.
There are days where I see so much, insanity. It's like, really? Why didn't I take that retirement option? Blah, blah, blah. No, but then I see the warriors.
Yeah.
So get up off your behind and get back to work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I appreciate what you all are doing. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. What were you going to say about human and non-human?
No, I was saying that's one of those things. I spent a lot of time in my books trying to make people understand concepts. There was I do a lot of that here. NEI does a lot of that here. There was, I call it reconceptualization. There was, and reconceptualization is when you take whatever the words are, whether they're English words, whatever kind of words, and you redefine them in warrior terms so that warriors can use them. And we started that because there was a little girl here. She was maybe, I think, 4th grade, and she loved words. And whenever we started this reconceptualization process, she was like all ears. And I watched the children go and take that idea and start doing reconceptualizations themselves. But for me, the best way to do that is to show these contradictions. Okay, so we're walking around and we pick up the Ebony magazine every year at the beginning of the year, and we see the 100 most influential Black people. That's because they have the greatest pull with white folks. Not because they're powerful. It's because they have the greatest pull with white folks relative to other Black folks. That doesn't mean they're bad people. That just means that word, as it's used there, is talking about their ability to convince someone who has power to work on their behalf. So those, whenever we're looking at something, and they're like slave master versus slave monster. Okay, I got a whole list of them. Where we take these words and we use better words, warriors' words, to fit that. So when we understand the concept of what it means to be human according to our ancestors, we are our ancestors. If we understand the concept of human according to them, then what would be given today looks weak. It's pretty sorry.
Yeah,
you know, anybody qualifies. A fool qualifies. You know, no, it's supposed to fit because we are people of evidence.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So every term we need to take each term that we come across, flip it upside down, turn it around, blah blah blah, to see whether it does or does not apply to the empowerment of African people. There was, I know you all know or probably know who Kamal Cambone is. He did the CNN Still K. I was at his house one time, and Kamal Cambone, he's so serious. We sitting there talking. And whatever he was doing, I asked him what he was doing, and he looked and he explained it, and he said, in closing, he said, I don't do anything unless it's going to help African people. And I looked at him, and I guess he could tell from my expression, you know, I was like, anything? Everything? And he said, yeah, there is nothing I do. He said, the measurement of toothpaste on my toothbrush, how fast I drive my car, what book I read, who I speak to, everything I do, before I do it, I ask, is this good for African people? Is this good for Black people before I do it? We have to approach, and when the young imagine where young folks could take that to in terms of creating a powerful reality for African people where they don't have to compromise to anybody.
Come on.
Oh, I can't get this grant. Well, I'll just get this grant from us. One of the things that you have, things that push you along, and one of the things that I heard Chuck D say really pushed it along. He said the best way to boycott, build your own.
Build your own.
Yeah. And that slapped me in the face. We had been doing that, but it's like when you say that, you know, somebody recognizes that and says that and then applies that. Because we hear people saying things, but they're not necessarily building their own. Okay.
Right.
We should have a independent school on every block right beside the church and the liquor store.
Facts.
Okay. If they're gonna be there, we should have that everywhere, and that's not something that's difficult to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're not doing the work.
Right. There were two terms, Dr. Baruti, when you were talking about words, two terms that I wanted you to expound on. We haven't mentioned them yet, but we're alluding to them. One is menticide, and the other one is rhetorical ethic. Can you kind of break those two words down?
And now I'll do the rhetorical ethic first. And the reason why I'm going to do rhetorical ethic first is because I'm writing about that now. I'm tired right now because I've been editing for weeks, trying to get the book out before March. Maarifa Ukweli coined that term, rhetorical ethic. It's in her book, Urugu. Right here. And that to me is like within the top 1 or 2 books that warriors need to read. It's I was teaching at Morehouse when I first didn't come across it. It came out when I was teaching there. I picked up a copy, ran to the store, picked up a copy. I'd heard of this woman. I didn't know her, but I heard of this woman, ran to the store, got a copy. And I sat down, started reading this book, and I stopped at about page 112, 115. I said, I'm not ready for this. You know, I'm a college professor. I'm going to be ready for whatever material comes to my face. I said, I'm not ready for this. Because she was talking about a mentality. She was talking about a way of thinking. She was talking about how we are. I picked it up the next year, the summer. I took 3 weeks. I did nothing but eat, sleep, and read. And that started the whole. It took me that long to get through that book and to really understand. So, in a nutshell, and that's the purpose. One of the purposes of the book I'm writing now, which is titled Identity, is to try to make rhetorical ethic better understood.
Yes, sir.
And I talked to her about it. She's through writing, but the idea that Europeans, and this has to do with that human thing. This has to do with power versus influence. This has to do with the image thing that we're caught up in like crazy. Europeans will study a people. They will study their heart. They'll study what they're about. They'll study all the rest of it. Whatever, they will imitate that. And they will fool the people who they are imitating into believing that they are like them, and then they will destroy them. So that rhetorical ethic, that where you're speaking as if you are ethical like these other people, where you are moral like these other people, but you're doing it in such a way because you know that you're fooling these other people because they don't know you. How do you think they were able to walk across this continent, just this continent, and just use the same tactics over and over again to remove the indigenous population from this country?
Right.
Okay. Because they understood the rhetorical ethic, they understood the power behind it, and they didn't have the moral restraint to not do that. That's what they have done. So that rhetorical ethic is when you talk in such a way so that it's really an effort. And I don't want to use it in the same term, but it's sort of like when you're young and you meet this sister, and really there's one thing on your mind, and you're telling her whatever it is you think she wants to hear, even though that's not you. Okay. But this is one people, and these are things that we have to study to really understand. It wasn't one individual. It wasn't one country.
Right.
Everywhere they went, they did the same thing. So whether it was the Swedes or whether it was the Brits or whether they did the same thing. So you're talking about, as Mama Rima talked about in the book, you're talking about an asili, okay, a spiritual core that guides them as a people. And that spiritual core has no qualms, has no problem with them being rhetorically ethical or unethical, I should say. So, simply put, it's just studying somebody else to figure out what they love and how they are, and then pretending to be that so that they will let their guard down, and then you do to them what you wanted to do anyway. Right.
Like image straw man.
Yes.
To you.
Absolutely.
I'm listening right now, and I'm like, I do that, and I don't even know.
Yeah, listen, it's the
spirit. It's the spirit behind that.
Yes.
Okay. It's the intent behind that. The people who you're talking to, you're not. Your goal isn't to steal everything they have and take over their home and steal their car and empty out their bank account. So it's the intent that's behind it that's important. And when you talk about, when Mama Rima, I need to talk about the rhetorical ethic. When she's talking about Europeans, we're talking about a history of using this rhetorical ethic to steal everything from everybody else. Right. Where that intent is the problematic. Because me, I want to know what people. I'm judging somebody who's going to be around the children here. I want to know whether you're Negro or not. So I'm not going to let you know what I'm about. Really, I mean, hopefully you've heard something, and hopefully that's not giving you too much information about me. But I want to know everything there's know about you, and me telling you everything there is to tell you about me can guide you into what you need to say, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think I do it, and I use it for resources to help my community. Right. So when I'm in these rooms with these, these companies, these institutions or whatever, I definitely practice that, but it's subconsciously. I don't even know that I'm actually doing it, but I'm using that to be able to grab resources for the community I serve. So that's I'm taking notes, but that was yeah.
You know what you're dealing with. You know who you're dealing with. You know what you're dealing with, and you know how to say what it is that they want to get what you need. Yeah. But the intent is what's important. You're doing this for the children. You're doing this for the community. You're doing this for the future. So in that case, I think that will be excusable. Okay. Absolutely. I think that would be excusable.
Okay.
Right. I think it helps our discernment to understand what rhetorical ethic is.
It does.
So that we can better understand the people we're engaging. I think one of the things that led to our downfall is just we didn't understand the people we were engaging. And the same way, Dr. Baruti, you were talking about, they take the same blueprint and just do it over and over again. Before they came to the African continent, they did it in the Indus Valley. You know, today, India and Pakistan, exactly the same thing. Represent a spiritual entity, present themselves as spiritual people through the law of Manu in Hinduism, represent God through words, but those words manipulate their targets, and then they take their stuff. They're able to manipulate them. It's the same blueprint on the African continent. They'll tell you what you want to hear. And they'll present themselves a certain way, but their context and intent for you at the end of the day is to colonize you and take over. They want your stuff. And I think we understand that forked tongue type of mentality. We'll be able to discern whether or not someone has a great interest at heart.
Yeah.
When I know you, you can't hide.
Yeah, come on. When I know you can't hide. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, I appreciate that explanation too.
Yeah, thank you.
In terms of menticide, this was a term that was coined by Bobby E. Wright, who's an ancestor. Bobby Wright is powerful, and in fact, there's a book, it's a very short book of essays, really speeches by him, entitled "The Psychopathic Racial Personality and Other Essays."
I'll go get it.
And this book,
group chat, put it in the chat.
The sad part of this book is that his most important essay, which is called Menticide.
Maarifa, you're showing off now, okay?
This is his most important essay.
Maarifa gonna put it in the chat. Maarifa put it in the chat.
Menticide, the ultimate threat to the black race. This is not included in that book.
Oh, okay. I need that one too.
What's not included in that book?
This is the most important essay that he did. This is the most important thing that he ever did. And it wasn't included, I believe, because there are certain things about this essay that they didn't want us to know. The last paragraph, in the last paragraph of this essay, Bobby Wright says, blood debts have to be repaid in blood. And I firmly believe that's the reason why this essay was not included in there. He wasn't playing in this essay. So if you, I gladly send this to, Reef, I'll send it to you. You can distribute it as we need to have this. They need to have the essay. And there's a reason why it wasn't included in that book. As powerful as it is, it's more powerful than any of the essays in the book.
Wow.
But Bobby E. Wright and his wife, they opened up at that time, the only free medical clinic in South Chicago for black folks.
Right.
That's and I believe, I'm not sure. I think that she's still doing that. I'm not sure. I wouldn't, bet on it, but I know that after he transitioned, she was still doing it.
Yeah.
But he coined this term menticide. And the reason why we need to have these terms back is because the meanings need to come back. We're in this progressive mentality. Mama Rima talked about that beautifully in an essay and talked about progression. The idea that if it's new, it's better than what was old. And we forget so quick. We need to bring back those old terms that describe what was going on perfectly. There's no better description to what I see among a lot of us is menticide. Okay, menticide, side at the end of any word as that suffix, it means to kill. Suicide, fratricide, pesticide, whatever the side is, it means to kill. Menticide means that they took your sense of who you are, yourself, all right, yourself, and they took that out. And they didn't put them in there. They put their interpretation of what you're supposed to be to them in there.
To be to them.
So when people say, well, you're acting white, no, you're acting the way white folks want you to act. The way they would have you act. That's menticide.
I got to wait.
Crazy.
That's menticide. And for me, the menticide, there are layers. There are those who I call Negroes who consciously work against us, who are so self-hating that they will sabotage what have you. When we moved into this house and started up the school, we had a neighbor across the street who called the city of Atlanta. And we're not by business license. We're not a school because we don't want to have to deal with those rules and regulations. The community knows it's that way, but I'm not having a separate bathroom for the boys and girls and nobody coming to inspect me when they want.
All that, man.
But this guy called the city to file a complaint. I want to say, luckily for us, but good for us, the guy 3 houses down from him didn't like him. Had just retired from that office. The sister who took the call, she called him to find out what was going on because she recognized his street. This guy didn't know anything that was going on in his house. He just saw some clothes that didn't fit what it looked like to be American. He saw dashiki, he saw, some other stuff that was African, and he knew something was wrong. Something was horribly wrong. So he immediately called the city of Atlanta. To me, I put that
to them, not you. Wrong
not
to
to
them.
me. Absolutely.
Yeah, not to you, to them.
So for me, that's a deep level of menticide. I put them in the category of Negroes. Then you have lost souls, folks that just, they don't know. Yes, I had the categories in there, and centered, I had to break it down to even more categories, because when I included it in Negroes and other essays, people kept saying, well, I know somebody who fits this and doesn't fit that, blah, blah, blah. So I had to expand the categories to include as many of us as I could. But menticide, that's there's an ancestor. He was the chair of the psychology department at FAMU for years, Kobe KK Cambone, and he had a concept called cultural misorientation. Cultural misorientation is very similar to menticide. He's got that too. Good. Cultural misorientation is very close to that. But what's important in what he said was the percents of people he created through this survey. He created, that's the one. And he's got another one out called Cultural Misorientation. And the red book that he has,
red one, yep,
in psychology, that I don't care if you're psychology or not, you need to read that. Anyway, he came out with this survey which showed the percentage of us who were severely misorientated, or you could say severely menticidal, moderately, and then only lightly. And what he found, though, which to me was interesting, even though most of us were in the center, as time had changed, as time had progressed from his first survey to the second survey, he marked that there were more of us were moving toward the severely menticidal level.
Right.
This was like 30 years ago or so. And I'm looking at this, and I'm looking around, and I'm seeing that this has progressed even further. What he missed, I believe, was that he didn't take into account that group like you all who are not falling for any of that nonsense. And that will put a little lump at the bottom that goes beyond, that only minimally misoriented individuals. But the menticide speaks to the degree to which we don't know who we are.
Right.
And even more so for me, it speaks to those of us who do not want to know who we are, who don't want to talk about culture, because when you talk about culture, then you're going to have to start talking about, Africa maybe. And we don't want to talk about that. So we're operating without a culture, not understanding that everybody is socialized. Everybody is socialized into a culture. So I see people relinquish their children to the idiot box or all the rest of this. They're being socialized. You're just not doing it. There's no such thing as a feral child that was born in the wild, and grows up there and doesn't learn anything about society. No, everybody is socialized. Everybody is socialized. The question is, who's socializing you, and what is their intent?
Yeah,
right. That leads into another word, Dr. Baruti. You're talking about our mental condition, the word re-Africanization. Can you expound on that concept?
Oh, and I love that word. It was used by many. I think it was best used by the Akotos, Baba Akoto, who is one of the ancestors now. Extremely powerful. UNIAACL tells the warriors the most important book that they need to read is the Sankofa Movement by the Akotos. And I'd put that in my top 3. I'd put that in my top 3 books ever. He also wrote a book, if you're an educator, he wrote a book called, that's the Sankofa Movement. He also wrote a book called Nation Building, which is back in print. If you're an educator, that's my #1 book for educators.
Somebody put that in the chat. I need it.
That's it. Nation Building. That's it.
Did you put it?
Baba.
We're not playing. There we go, Baba. I mean, we're not playing.
Yeah. It's so I've heard re-Africanization relative to coming out of their mouths and their work more than anybody else. And we're talking about, a process where we relearn who we are. But the key component of this for me in terms of re-Africanization, which is matched up with that term or that concept, nation building, those two go together. Sometimes when I explain to people, I'll say re-Africanization is a process where you get rid of the stuff that's clogging up your African mind, and you start infusing and learning and thinking about those things that speak to you about who you are and your way. And they say, well, you know, tradition is backward. No people who come to power leaves their tradition behind.
Right.
No people come to power. Right. We're the only ones that are saying, no, I don't want to hear anything about African tradition. Everybody else is embracing their tradition.
Yeah.
The nation building part is to me, the action part where you're actually doing it. Where when there's an elder who's part of your community and he's infirm and he's got a lawn that's grown up 2-3 feet, where you go in there and you mow the lawn in the process of mowing your lawn. That's nation building.
Facts.
Okay, when you see the boys sitting over there by the court and they're just sort of hanging around and doing it, and you go and talk to them, or you see a little boy sitting there having trouble with his homework, and you go, that's nation building, as well as building the facilities for us to dance in and drum in.
That's how that village get built like that.
Us building the buildings, us building the schools, us building the institutions. That's the nation building part. To me, they're not separable and they're not competitive. Mm-hmm. So if you want to use re-Africanization or return to what it means to be African, that Sankofa concept where you go back and you get it and you apply it. Mm-hmm. And want to add building to that, or say nation building is also a part of that. To me, either one, I see them as slightly separate in terms of application. And of course, our ancestors know that there shouldn't be a disconnect between your hand and your mind.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. That's something that we've done in the West, thinking that the mind is greater than the hands. And I know some carpenters and I know some masons. Mm-hmm. And I've done a lot of Baba Amin has been here. I've done a lot of work on this house myself. If you're mathematically stupid, you're not going to be able to build a house. You're not going to be able to build a doghouse. Mm. So when we're talking about these people who do this work, we're talking about people who are thinking. Mm-hmm. Right. And especially when you're dealing with stuff that needs to be repaired, you have to figure out how to do this. That requires thinking versus just going and pulling something out of a file or up on the computer and plug in whatever you need to plug in and let the computer do the work. No, these people are thinking. They are thinkers.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about careers one day here, and everybody was giving these examples of walking around in a suit and all the rest of this. Okay, that's fine. I've walked around in a suit before. I said, but that guy over across the street, and there was a guy who's putting up a wrought iron fence in between some brick posts for a sister across the street. Mm-hmm. I said, this brother right here, and I talked to him earlier, his son was his apprentice. This brother comes in, he spends about 3 hours putting in this wrought iron fence, attaching it to the bricks, and he paints it black, and he makes about $2,500, and only takes him about 2 hours. Mm. So now compare that to me with a suit, which brings back some research that I did back when I was in grad school, because the Negroes were getting so excited because black folks were moving more into white collar jobs, and the white folks were moving more into the blue collar jobs proportionately. And I said, yeah, they're doing that because the incomes of blue collar jobs are going up and the incomes of white collar jobs are not going up. They're following the money. We're following the book. We're following the image. Right. So we need tech schools. What Jerry Clark talked about years ago. He said, when what happened in our community was that the white folks still controlled what went on, because if anything got fixed, our men were taken off to the fields or what have you to do their work, and then when they left, the white men came in and did the work that needed to be done. And we over time have looked down on those skills, so we don't want them. I wish I knew how to lay bricks well.
See, that was that white flight stuff.
Yes. If I had my druthers and could do it all over again, I'd be a carpenter. I'd be a carpenter. A carpenter who read. A carpenter who read.
Trading a skill. Right. Yeah, that's a trading a skill. My daddy, like my pops, like he talk about that. Not to cut you off, OG. You know what I'm saying? But my dad talked about that all the time. Like, you better know how to do everything. I don't care about this basketball stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to take care of everything. I got 4 kids, so I got to teach them and bring that back down. Right. You know what I'm saying? I got to move that to them. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't understand it then when I was cutting grass 8, 9 o'clock in the morning when I'm 9, 10 years old. But I understood that this is a trade. When I got older, that's a skill. Right. Take care of your people and pass that skill down. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't about like, basketball and skills is that. But with everything else, still got that. So I gotta pass it. You know what I'm saying? I could pass the basketball, but I gotta pass life skills.
Absolutely.
Being able to communicate all type shit like that, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's real talk. What you're saying is real. You know what I'm saying? Like you start businesses with that when you get to the platform and you get, you know what I'm saying, the money to be able to do that. Pass that on.
You got the right skills, you hire yourself.
You can't be 35, 36 years old and then trying to figure some shit out, excuse me. I learned that as a kid. So it's like, all right, I'm going to give that to my babies so that they know how to do that. I'm going to make you go take that trash out. I'm going to make you go learn how to cut grass. I'm going to make you learn how to trim these hedges. I'm going to make you learn how to wash cars. Anything that you can do that I was doing before all that. That's real talk. We're talking about, big homie, for real, because it's you know, you don't get that. I ain't getting no silver plate. I ain't getting none of that. I had to get that out. Everything out. All 4 of my companies is like grassroots. It's not like somebody gave me something. I had to do that. This is out of my pocket, and now I'm getting more people that's, you know, I'm getting investors and stuff like that now, like for the last couple of years. But I gotta go get it like that. Ain't none of that. We talking about you getting 100,000, 200,000 people. Nah, bro, you better go in your pockets and see what's happening after that. So what you saying is super, it's affirmation. Is what I'm telling you. I said it earlier, but it's super affirmation. Because I have to do that with my kids. My kids got bank accounts. My oldest she about to be 13. She live here in Atlanta. I live in Charlotte. And she'll be 13 in a week. And my twins are 5. My oldest son 9. My son's with me. It's real talk. I tell them, they all got bank accounts. They babies. And I'm like, you're going to have that because you're going to earn this. Because daddy had to earn it. And I know y'all do that. Which y'all, you know, but I'm just saying, like, you feel me? If I had that, then I would have did that. Yeah, I would have been on that. I would have been like, look, whatever I need to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't never have to worry about growing up in the projects and shit and stuff like that. You feel me? But at the same time, you feel me? Like, you growing up in a different, daddy did something different. So you growing up like that. You feel me? But I'm like, y'all gonna learn how to earn your money.
Right.
And you're gonna learn how to do this shit and start your own company forever. Daddy got 4 of them. So you gonna have to have that. And you can do it now. My daughter gonna have her own company when she's 14.
Word.
You feel me? Yeah, I already put it in place. We not playing around with that. So what you're saying is super dope. Like, I wish I had this when I was 12, 36 years old. I wish I had that shit because I wish I needed that because I would have did it then. I could do it till I was 31 years old. You come from the projects, all that shit stuff started happening. Like, I'm like, man, I could have did this then.
Right.
You feel me? I'm a creator.
Yes.
I was creative when I was 8, 9 years old. Shit, we could have had that going on then.
Wow.
So to hear the big homie and be on a call with all of y'all, which is dope as shit, stuff, I would just love to have had that when I'm 9, 10 years old. It's like, okay, cool. I'm going to do it like this. I can start a business. I can do this and do that and the other. Now, we got a whole community. This what y'all can do.
Right.
It's something like, on the real, it's something that Maarifa helped me realize. Like, we got the Stop the Violence movement that we're doing right now.
Right.
And we got a lot of different tactics, man. We got a lot of different tactics on how we engage with the youth. But I think the most powerful piece is the workshop. Is the workshop that Maarifa is leading, that he's putting together. So everybody can have this perspective of being a village-minded people. But how do you give, like, I think the application is just like where we lose people at. Like, there's so much knowledge that we give to everybody, and that we consume ourselves, but then it's like the application part is where we lose people. You know, is now it's an action. Now go do. You know, and
gotta be active, bro.
Maarifa, would you agree?
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. I think Baba Amin can really speak to this because he molds young people's minds every single day. And Baba Amin, even when you come on the lives and you're describing some of the things you do, I'm learning and listening. So you can expand on this. That would be great.
Well, you know, it's all about action. You know, action based. You know, I teach my students all the time that the best leadership is example. You know, it's not being able to tell people what to do. It's not about who you bossing around. It's about example. You know what I'm saying? And set an example according to your strengths. You know, education is about recognizing, you know, your purpose, recognizing, finding where you fit in, and what's going on in our community is our menu has been shortened. You know, it's like they give you a menu, you know, you got athlete, entertainer, you know what I'm saying? And then maybe you can go work at the food stamp office and things like that, you know, but the menu, botanist ain't on the menu, drug dealer might be on the menu, but pharmacist ain't really on the menu. Like it's a lot of things, farmer, agricultural science ain't on the menu, you know. So when you have a restricted menu, you know, you can only order so many things. And if you don't fit inside that box, then you're considered a failure. So you're in a unique position where if you still live in the Black community, well, that's because you didn't make it out. You know, well, who wants to take care of something that your whole life you want to get away from? You know, and so it's all about that orientation. You know, and just being in establish an empowerment based program, man. Make sure that whatever experience young people have when they come to you, that it's an empowering experience. You know what I'm saying? That they come away with skills, those practical skills, like what Baba Baruti is talking about and what Anthony's talking about. You know, create those opportunities for young people, man. You'd be surprised how many young people will feel empowered if they have to cut a yard. They're gonna be mad at first, but when they get to look at that yard when they finish, man, that's a different kind of feeling. Somebody who ain't got the yard. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people ain't got the yard to cut.
Yeah,
you're right. And then build on that, man.
That's a trade. Right. We gotta learn trade.
Right? And I'm not training you to grow up and be a landscaper. If that's what you want to be, then great. You know, I want you to look at that land and say, I want some of that for myself and for my family. You know, because when you buy your land, you need to take care of it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you something, big homie, too, man. You give me them David Banner vibes, bro. You're crazy, man. I love it. And big homie, both of y'all, all of y'all give me all the vibes that I need to have. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I had no idea you was gonna be on here, brother Morrow. You know, I'm a basketball fan, so I'm like, I'm on here, man. Morrow,
man, Greg, man, Maarifa, West Side, like, we all on it, man. Like for real.
Hey, Baba, I mean,
locked in.
Morrow used to come to Victory Christian Center and give us so many buckets. Yo.
Y'all couldn't stop. You knew what time it was.
He would be so competitive too. Like everyone respected him. He didn't come in here trying to be dainty because he's an NBA player. Right. He came in like, I'm gonna give you this work. I don't care who you are. You're gonna get this
work. Can't play around now.
Yeah, he didn't play around with us, man.
Well, my prayer is that you now is like you're giving empowerment buckets, man, to your community.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what's needed. You know what I'm saying? Now you out here you outscoring your peers. Like, man, I'm in my neighborhood. What you doing?
Come on.
I'm missing where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? That's a different kind of MVP. So that's my kind of MVP right there.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Baba Amin up here reconceptualizing everything. He reconceptualized MVP, reconceptualized everything. That's what we're talking about.
Hey, what we take ownership of language around here, Baba Baruti. We take ownership of language, man.
I went. Nah, it's real talk. Like I did what I needed to do in terms of professionalism, but in terms of the community, it was like I never looked at it like that. But that's why I'm on the call with y'all. My man Greg, of course, I told y'all, everybody. This is like something that's never going to stop.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to find the next Amo. I'm gonna find the next Anthony Moore. Like all that. I already done found him. I got my little cousin. I'm taking care of him. He ranked in the nation and all that. Ain't playing around with nothing like that, man. I'm like looking at it like, look, man. And it goes to what Doc said. Doc made a great point. You said something that is, like I said, affirmation. It's like, I'm doing that over here. I don't need the news and all that. Maarifa got the call. Greg's here, all the homies, everybody. But I started thinking like that about 7-8 years ago. Like, I have to do it like this. And you can't think about who gonna come do something. Me and Greg had these conversations all the time. They not gonna come over here and do it because they don't have the same mental initiative that we have. You feel me? So like Doc said that, and it's like, yeah, it's perfectly articulated what he said. I'm not worried about that. You got to come to us now, but we got to have impact. You know what I'm saying? We get
and
impact,
enjoy the process, man.
Exactly.
You know enjoy farming, man. Like, you know, we like farmers. You teaching, man. Farmers don't make seeds.
we planting seeds.
You know?
So I'm seeds, you know, when now
That's
stuff start happening. Now people like, man, I ain't know you was going. Nah, bro, this been going on for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't been on no trying to get like I don't
we had
care
these
about
Amo, we had these conversations all the time. Like it's we're not. I'm not happy to be at that table. I'm not happy to be at the table. I'm happy to create my own table and then invite those to the table. It's all about ownership right now.
Right, bro. But you see how it goes. You got to have something going on for the people to come to you. And then you get, through the grace of God, through the grace of the Most High, you get people that have the same initiative. And that's how I met Maarifa and Greg. And now all of y'all. And I'll be blessed to have that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I didn't look for, like I wasn't going nowhere. I'm like, man, I'm over here, bro. I'm from here. I ain't got nothing else going on. Anybody in the room understand what West Boulevard was in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s? Right. All that.
Right. And Greg, you were talking about, you know, what kind of getting to how to get people to, you know, to put it into action. Right. And Dr. Baruti+Baba, I mean, I know this has been a challenge. You know what, in my younger days of getting into this whole re-Afghanization of my mind, you know, just turning things around, and you're trying to spread the knowledge to your friends and your loved ones and your people. You know, one challenge is getting people to listen in the first place and even care. But you do come to that point where you're sharing information, people are listening, but you're not really seeing a lot of change.
Right.
One approach that has helped me recently is understanding self-efficacy. This is a term, and this is talking about a person's ability to take the steps to go to another level, but it's based on their own personal life. So everyone's steps are going to be different. But do you believe that if you take those steps, things will actually change? And I found if I can arrange my words to deal with those circumstances, to help someone overcome those mental blocks, they're way more likely to start putting things into action. And there's 3 areas that it deals with when it comes to self-efficacy, why someone won't take steps, won't take the information, even though they believe it's great, why they won't apply it. One, they believe their environment is unresponsive. Like, even if it might work for you, but if I take these steps, it just isn't going to work out for me. Nothing's really going to change. And I realize if I speak to that, they tend to overcome that challenge. And the next one was the environment is discriminatory. So because I'm a man, or because I'm black, or because I'm a woman, or because I'm too young, whatever the reason is, the system or the environment is going to discriminate against me. And again, nothing's going to change. And I found if you speak to that particular barrier, you overcome that, they take off majority of the time. And the last one would be the environment is punitive. So in other words, I'm going to be punished in some way, shape, or form if I take these steps. Maybe it's punishment through my people that ban me, won't deal with me anymore, or I might even have a consequence at a job, or What it might be a social issue, whatever, but I'm going to receive negativity. I'm going to be punished for. Could in our case, when it comes to being a revolutionary, you could be killed if you make certain moves and say certain things. So if you, I notice if I overcome those, if I try to help overcome those three things, those barriers in someone's mind, once we get past it, they tend to take off.
I found in my experience that a lot of that is based on fear. And when you're fearing these consequences, a lot of times, especially when I'm dealing with somebody who I say, no, there's a warrior spirit in this person. You know what I'm saying? They need to just be listened to. Let me listen right quick. Right. And then point out to them what that you're already doing. Because a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, they're already doing on some scale what it is that they're scared to do. Right. So you're already doing it. Right. So let's look at that and let's build on that. You know, but a lot of times it's fear. You know, eating too many Kit Kats will kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like death is unavoidable. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at the risk reward factors, because there are risk reward factors in everything that we do. You know, you can slowly kill yourself if you have a passion and a calling and you keep denying it because you keep making something bigger than your own spirit, something bigger than your own creator, something bigger than your own ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So this was slow death within itself, but that's also a part of that mental side that we've been talking about. You know, I find that what's been effective for us in our movement is finding roles for people to move in the comfort zone and skill zone that they're already in. You don't have to be Baba Amin. I had a brother call me the other night. Man, I want to get involved with your movement. I want to get, what can I do? I said, number one, it's not my movement. You know what I'm saying? We're fighting for our liberation. He had his children in the backseat of the car. And I can see from his energy, he don't know what he's going to be doing. He had his children backseat of the car. I said, are those your babies back there? He said, yes. I said, we already working together. You and your baby's life? Yeah, I take care of my children. Bruh, that's a revolutionary act within itself. That's a solutionary act. You already in the movement. You a powerful father. So we need to be talking about what else you want to do. Because the first thing you got to stop doing is looking at yourself like you're not doing anything.
I like that.
And he didn't see that. He was taking that part for granted. Don't take that for granted. Many children I work with, they don't have a mother or a father. Are you serious? And you so validating. You got a lot of, everyone needs a little validation. You know what I'm saying? And most of us have earned some.
Right.
So allow them that, right? And yeah, you know, and I think that helps alleviate that too. You work on cars. Well, guess what? Revolutionaries need cars too.
We need cars. Come on.
We need cars too. That's
a different perspective of meeting people where they are. That's a different way.
Go among the people, meet them where they are, and build on what they know, not on what you know. Right? Because the farmer can plant the seed, but you cannot make a seed sprout. You can make the soil. You can take care of the soil. You can water it. You can do everything. But it's something inside the seed that got to be sparked in order for it to sprout.
I said that. I just had that conversation.
Man. Yeah, I've learned over the years to enjoy farming, and I don't look at it and say, "Dang, they not listening." No, I'm delivering it like a mug, and now I'm gonna figure out a new way to deliver. I enjoy delivering it. Now, I don't know who's gonna get it, because guess what happens sometimes? I walk in the store, somebody say, "Are you Bob? I mean, man, you said something, and that changed my life." And I'm instantly humble because I didn't even do that on purpose. I'm just walking in my purpose.
Right, it's genuine.
I get out to the idea. I get out to the ancestors, and we keep it moving.
I love the idea of finding an act of revolution inside of everybody's life. I love that idea of saying, "Yo, you're a father." That's an act of revolution right there. You know, you working on cars, but you're doing it for your people. That's an act of revolution. And so many times we look at that term of saying meeting people where they are, but we don't meet people where they are in that sense, where it's like, I'm gonna find the revolution that lies in you, and I'm gonna work with that. Whatever that is, I'm gonna work with that, because that's to get you on.
That's it. Absolutely. And I'm thinking about how I think that's a greater approach to it, but there's a minor way of doing that. I mean, it's to so like what people no longer do with their children, which is why children ended up so spoiled. They don't allow them to test themselves. They don't allow them to do the things that they know that they can do. They do it for them. So I remember we had a rites of passage program here, and there were about 8 boys, and we were talking about security at an event for the tables that we had. And I'm looking at the boys, and I said they need to be involved with this also. So we gave them the responsibility of doing the same thing, of watching whoever came to the table. If they saw anything, odd going on, blah blah blah, to come to us, not to do anything, but to come to the men. And they did that. They were playing, but they still kept it on the table. But you saw a change in their self-esteem as a result of that one day. Given something to do that was a little bit, not super difficult, but something that's a little bit above what they were comfortable with. And then they master that. Yeah, absolutely. And for me now, I hadn't really thought about the idea of revolutionizing, because it's already revolutionizing what people normally naturally do. That's a part of that now for me. Yeah, I appreciate that idea. That's a part of that now for me. Because I'm not thinking in the club.
Absolutely. Hey, real talk.
Everybody want to feel like they're in the club.
Hey, big homie, you give me the RZA vibes. Real talk.
Yeah,
that's the big homie.
Absolutely. That is an idea that really needs to be passed around. The idea of finding the revolutionary meaning in everything that everybody does, or something that they do, that idea needs to be passed around. We pass around all kinds of ideas, tell everybody you love me. So we need to pass that around.
Yeah, right. No, I love how he put that together. It just really made me think on how do I really activate people. And I use this term of meeting people where they are so much, and it's really about like their location, right? When I use it and I use that approach, it's that location that you're in. I'm gonna meet you where you are,
right?
But finding that revolution inside of somebody that already exists, and what you like Dr. Baruti said, what you do naturally, and then expounding on that and putting that into action and making you feel like you're part of this ecosystem, this village, because you're already revolutionary in what you naturally do every day.
Right.
Every day.
I remember when I my first classroom, I worked with an alternative school. This was about 25 years ago. And my first day, it's an alternative school for elementary school children, right? So like an all-star team of kids that's getting in trouble. And Henry Boss Ross, I ain't gonna never forget him, right? So we still talk. I said, "Good morning, young man," in class. He looked at me and said, "Man, fuck you, 8 years old." Told me to help myself. Right? I said, "Whoa, okay, man, come on out of the back with me," right? So he got into the back. I said, "I'm gonna tell you something. You brave. You, man, if I put the right information inside of you, because you can look at me and tell I will F you up, and you still told me to go F myself."
That's hey, listen, that's real.
You know what I'm saying? Man, I like that. We just need to pull something in you. And he ended up being the leader in the classroom, but I told him, "You go there again, though, next time we come back to the building, I'm going to fight you like you're grown." But today, I'm impressed with your courage. I'm telling you, I'm impressed with your courage, because I'm dark, black, big old eyes. You told me to go help myself. Man, you did.
But listen, though, you got to keep them ones close. Everybody on the stage. You got to keep them ones close. Because we can groom them ones.
That's right.
That look at it like that, because you can groom
a family man right now today, raising his children. He got
bro.
that kind of attitude.
Talk, big homie.
Family.
I'm
Don't
doing
mess
that
with none of his.
I'm doing that with.
I'm starting to feel like we need to popularize the term revolutionary. I don't, because now that I'm thinking about it, and I'm like really thinking about where we are. There was a time when I was growing up. I'm 38. I am a revolutionary was kind of popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you still are, bro. What you mean kind of popular, bro?
But it was popular to say as a kid. Like it was.
Oh yeah. No, you still are.
Inside of the household. But nowadays that term and that saying revolutionary or revolutionist, that's not really a popular terminology that kids are using nowadays.
Yeah, that's not
as long as it's the right context. Because
of course.
Yeah, how they
if it's true to the term, there's going to be a lot of backlash that comes with it, because you stand for something this society is 100% in another direction.
Yeah.
And so,
right.
You know,
young people, we were when we were young, we were vote by nature, you know. And one of the things that the enemy did coming in to Africa and even in our community now, you know, amongst the young, that's where you find the most dissatisfied with the status quo. You know, and I come in and I offer you something that looks a little different than the status quo. A lot of young people gonna take that carrot, you know. Like I mean, I grew up in the crack era, you know what I'm saying? And hell, when crack hit y'all, that looked like reparations to some people. You know,
that shit was
like God, dog, we finally got something that we can get a leg up with. We can make some money with it, and it looks shiny. But in order to do it, we had to decimate our own community in return. And when we didn't look at the long-term effect at that time. And there was a generational fight between the older generation who saw what was happening, but all the young generation saw was we eating now.
Right.
And
Lord have mercy.
You know what I'm saying? And so that dynamic that was history repeating itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was when they came and brought Jesus. Like, man, you ain't got to go give an offering to Oshun and Shango and go to the tree no more and all that stuff that people making you do. Just say Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior, and you good. Well, that's easy. To the dissatisfied, that's okay. What else I got to do? Well, recognize that your mom and daddy are heathens.
Right.
And then we got the locker. We're gonna put them in shackles. You know. And so, man, when we learn from that type of history, you know what I'm saying? So we begin to understand the power of culture, the power of words, and now we got to exercise our right to redefine those words, man. You know, and like we don't just say revolutionary. You know, I teach my students that they're going to become solutionaries, right? And a solutionary is a revolutionary that knows what to do the day after freedom comes.
Right.
Come on.
Well, yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
Can we?
A lot of folks don't think in those terms. A lot of folks can't get past today.
Right. We know what we want to stop, but what do we want to start? We want to stop the violence, but we also need to start the investment. We need to start the technical programs. We need to start the business incubators. What do we want to start?
That's to me. That's
big homie. I'm gonna tell you like this.
Point. Hey, if the revolution was about guns, okay, well, we've killed off the enemy. Now, what do you build?
What do you build?
We don't have the slightest idea what to build. And
Haiti had that problem.
Nah, we got this. We got the idea, bro. I'm gonna tell you like this. We got the idea.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
What you got, Deontay Wilder?
No, listen.
Yo, Anthony Morrow look, he has Deontay Wilder vibes. Am I lying?
That's cool with me. That's cool with me. I ain't getting my ass up like him, but I'm.
Oh, I can't unsee it now, bro.
Y'all see?
Heavyweight champ.
Y'all see me? I'm on it. Nah, I got that before. That's cool, man.
Yeah,
it's cool. I'm gonna tell you like this though, real talk. When you talking about, I've been trying to get a building in the hood for like 5 years, and I'm gonna do it. But if I don't do it there, I'm gonna do it in Charlotte. It's gonna be somewhere on the corridor. I'm already working on it. I'm in Atlanta. I gotta handle business, all that. Get one here and there. I got business here, all that. You know what I'm saying? I got land here. We just sold all that. I'll tell you like this, bro. We already have the resources.
right.
You feel me? And these are the conversations we gotta have to have the resources in our city and also everywhere else in our region, and moving forward from that. And nobody can tell us how to do nothing, because if we come together and do it, like Unc said, you know, big homie said, Doc said this. He said we got to understand where we at in terms of who we are. When we don't move like that, then how we gonna get some stuff done? You know what I'm saying? You got to come out of pocket. Like I came out of pocket, I had to handle my business that way, so that people can come to us. That's what it's gonna be. We can't have like, it's a slave mentality to think that you can't handle business unless white people get involved with the shit.
There you go.
And I ain't on that.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I said, look, instead of buying a Maybach, well, I got one, but I'm talking about
instead of buying a Lamborghini. I ain't buying that. I'm gonna take that bread, everything for companies. I put that back in the business. We're going back to buy some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing about that. You gotta come to us with that. But I gotta get a group of homies so we can own some. Like, I ain't trying to own cars. I'm trying to own land. I'm trying to own buildings. Like, you feel me? And I ain't never. I'm not a flashy dude like that. I mean, I get fly when each other. I'm like, at the same time, bro, we're gonna do this way. That's how we gonna do it. I do business with my people. Greg know my homies. Me and Greg chop it up about all kind of stuff. I tell them, look, bro, we gotta do this way. We can't depend on nobody.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't trying to get. I got Anthony Marr Enterprises. Ain't none of that shit. It's 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? You know that, G. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only way it gotta be.
With that.
Like you already know, like the type of fight that we doing right now, even for housing, like the type of fights that we're doing now, the people that I'm talking to now, it's how do we get the 5 acres? How do we get 33 townhouses up? And how do we create our own community? Like that's what it's about. How do we put a bodega inside of the community? How do we have our own school inside of the community?
And
that's
we can use our own money to do that shit.
And I'm gonna keep it real, Doc. We do so much work and on the ground that sometimes we miss that we gotta own this stuff that we doing. We gotta. I'm not leasing no. I don't want to lease no building. I'm not leasing no building. I want to buy the building, and we needed to have it so we could pass it down and pass it down. We need the so we can pass it down, pass it down. If we're not doing that in 2021. We behind. We behind.
I tell you, like real talk, bro.
Way behind.
What he's saying, 100%. Not to cut you off, my brother. On God, I'm telling you like this: we can use our money and use other people's money to do it.
I say,
because that's what they do. That's what they do.
Yeah.
You feel
wherever it's coming from?
We gotta do it that
build
way.
the skills needed to maintain it.
Yeah, like
you put that into your schools, into your programs, because
all that shit.
The workforce, I didn't know people that's gonna renovate the buildings. They right there in the community. They just need that skill and that opportunity.
And that's where Dr. was talking about. Dr. Baruti was talking about the rhetorical ethics. I feel like that's where I use those rhetorical ethics to be able to get these type of things. I learn the people that is inside of these rooms. I learn what needs to make them tick, and then I use that against them to be able to get what I need for my people. So you were mentioning the rhetorical ethics. I'm really about to read on that because I subconsciously do it. But imagine if we did it consciously. Imagine if we did it on purpose. And I think that's what the enemy
all
does
of us do it together, bro.
As long as it's not hurting us. If it's helping us, I'm not concerned about what happens to other folks. Really, I'm sorry to say that. No, I'm not sorry to say that. I'm not concerned about what happens. I'm trying to build something for the children. As long as it's not hurting us, as long as I'm going to be allowed to continue to do that, that's fine. And the ownership, to me, I don't understand. Coming out of my time, most of the folks who are trying to do these things, who are trying to do good things, they didn't make that connection in the same way. They didn't make that connection. I can't imagine us doing anything without land anymore. I mean, folks talked about it, but they didn't apply it in that way. They sort of, I guess, lost it. The generation that came out of the Great Depression, they were serious about it. And then when they made it, they started giving their children everything, and the children lost that sense that they got to work for it. And now, sadly, we're having to come back to that again in order to do that. This time, okay, well, let's say that happens this time. And we get back to the point where we have to make our children realize, well, you're not entitled to anything. Well, this time with that has to come the lesson that will make it so that when they get to a point where they've made it, they're not repeating the same thing over and over again.
Right.
They understand that concept of ownership, not leasership, not rentalship.
No.
Owning that
another. Hey, that's a great
owning
word.
it.
I'm sorry.
There was a question in the chat. I'm gonna post it so y'all can see it. Brother Kebuka is making this comment, and he says, "Let's not forget the most important and undiscussed topic: How do we protect the things we build? History has shown us that our enemies have always come and took every great thing we build. So how do we protect it?
That is the question. That's my question right there. I say over and over again. That's almost all I end up talking about. We got schools that do not have independent schools that do not have security drills. Okay, we're talking about we're at war. So there was a student in my class many years ago, and he was saying, you know, when I graduate from college, and I'm gonna find me a sister, and we're gonna get us some land, and we're gonna grow us some crops, and we got some children, and we'll be do all of this and all this stuff, and we'll be able to grow. I said, you've forgotten who you were, because the history of Europeans is a history where they see surplus, they come in and take it.
Come on.
Right. So that's the first priority for me, and that's the institution that we have neglected the most. It's almost like we think that they're gonna take care of us. We got communities that are unprotected. We got women that are not protected. We got entire families that are not protected. To me, it's difficult to imagine, because you're supposed to, John Clark said, you practice running a nation by running a family. Right. So if we're going to be running a nation, we're going to be protecting the family, then there shouldn't be any event, any occasion, anything where we're at where you don't have active security there, practicing the art. Maintaining the space. I'm not talking about there shouldn't be any situation where a sister can't call on somebody because she's being abused or what have you, where brothers don't know to immediately go and handle the situation. We got to practice it in the immediate, in the real world.
Right.
That way, when the children see it, they're going to know, okay, well, I want to give another example real quick. When I teach science, and in our front yard there are anthills, and the neighbors don't like it, but I keep anthills in my yard. And the reason I keep anthills is because every spring when it starts to warm up, the ants will bring the eggs up to the top so that they can be warmed by the sun. I take the students out under the, I'm pretending that we're going out to study ant behavior, so we can, we talk about how societies developed after modeling stuff on nature. Anyway, we go out, we look at the ants, take some crackers out there, crumble them, blah, 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 looking at, we're talking, watching the ants. And then I'll take my finger or a stick and I'll poke a hole in the side, right below where the eggs are. And the students at first, they'll freak out because I'm like, you don't destroy nature for nothing. You don't tear up nothing like that for nothing. That's life too. How would you like somebody put a finger in your house? But anyway, I ignore them. And of course, the ants come out. They come out looking for whatever this intruder is. You see the eggs begin to be taken back down into the hill. The students back up a little bit because the ants come out. They come out in droves. And about maybe 10, 15 minutes later, they slowly but surely start to go back into the hill. And then maybe, a little bit later, there's some few scouts out, but they're still checking out the situation. They're starting to rebuild the side of the anthill. And I say, okay, what's the lessons here? And invariably, every single solitary year, somebody said, well, they protect their community, their home. And somebody also will always say, we don't do that. These are our little ones who are watching us, and they're seeing that we don't protect our own. So we can't do it. I mean, talk about Army, the institution, but we have to talk about what we need to do in our own spaces to protect what is ours, because that's an art. There's an art to that.
Right.
I think a big part of our vulnerability is not recognizing those things that we currently have that have value, and not recognizing the value in certain. I think we protect things that we don't need. We protect the hell out of our egos. You know what I'm saying? We offer up all kind of protection for our egos, man. We do that. But when it comes to our children, we think we're protecting them because we've been fooled to think that the institution that's destroying them is actually helping them, right? And that's like the public school system. But we think we're protecting them. I think in a lot of ways we are natural protectors, but when you don't know what to protect, you'll look like you're not protecting at all, because the end result is you still getting hurt. You still getting harmed. You know what I'm saying? So education is security. Number one. Ownership is also security. Number two, how you disseminate information is security. Number three, when you're in a situation where your enemy's army is bigger than yours, you need subterfuge, you need strategic alliances, right? The whole 9 yards. You need to have something of value that people want, that you don't just give away. Like how you just give away the vote to whichever white person that look like they're not prejudiced or got hot sauce. You give away your leverage for acceptance when you no longer when acceptance is no longer your goal, then you start making people really pay you for your services. You don't know your value as long as you're finding your value in somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know.
See it.
Yeah. So if and a lot of times we'll look at how big the enemy looks, and it becomes a non-starter for us. But we can't do it because if we do it, they just don't, you know.
That's that self-evident.
Yeah. So
that's real.
Right.
That's real talk, bro.
History is full. History is full of David slaying Goliaths.
Right. Right.
It could definitely be done. You know what I'm saying? We just have to, and I think it's going to be done organically as we come into knowledge of self.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's real talk.
I say if you can't protect it, it's not yours.
Yeah.
I don't care how much. If you can't protect it, it's not yours.
Right.
Anybody can come along and take it. Whether we're talking about things like education, we're talking about things like our family, if we're talking about things like building structure, if you can't protect it, it's not yours. I don't care how pretty it is. I don't care how much you paid for it. Okay? I don't care how much you're doing in it. If you can't protect it in this reality, it's not yours. And
hey, Doc.
I put up this book, Common Sense Security. I, of course, highly recommend all my books, but I definitely recommend that I do a lecture on that 2 or 3 times a year.
Can you say that book again?
I'm going to check that out. Hey, I'm going to get that.
Hold on 1 second, gentlemen. Let him hold the book up and then talk about it. Go ahead, Dr. Baruti.
There are a lot of things that I grew up with that were just common sense in terms of how you secured your home, how you secured your area, how you secured your neighborhood. You didn't give them a second thought. You didn't have to walk around, huffing and puffing and pimping all over the place. No, you just understood quite clearly these things needed to be protected.
Right.
Needed to be protected. So, it's like bringing that information back, just like bringing back words like menticide.
Yeah.
All these things need to be back because they worked for us.
Right.
They work for us. Of course, we have to be ingenious and new stuff, but we have to bring back the old stuff that folks act like, okay, because it's old, it's no longer any good. No, this stuff worked for us. These that were secure. You didn't come into one of our communities and snatch some girl.
Right.
That'd have been the last thing you tried to snatch.
Right. So, hey, Dr. Baruti, just a question: do you have any book references for children? I'm not saying, I have young girls, they can read these books, they can, but do you have something that's directly for them that we can give to the young ones that they need to be reading, 9, 10, 11, 12, starting them off early in that elementary phase?
Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to say is common sense security needs to be a family thing. Because they'll recognize in there things that they can do.
Okay.
They need to be practicing the art of security at 7, 8, 9, 6, 5, 4 years of age as well, so that it becomes second nature to them. They don't have to think about it.
Yes, sir.
They taught us things when I was small, and I realized the effect of them. I was taught when I was small in school, whenever there's a fire in the building, you of course don't go to the elevator, you go to the stairs, but before you open up that door, you put your back of your hand to that door to see if that door is hot. I'm like 30 years old. The fire alarm went off in the building that we were in. I instinctively didn't even think about it. Put my back of my hand up to that door. I have no idea. That's from like 3rd grade. So they can be learning these things young. What I will say, in Asafo, I have a reading list for youth. I have a reading list for like really when they're too young to really read. Yeah. So I have a number of reading lists in Asafo, in the book of Asafo.
In the book of Asafo, okay.
Right. They're under reading list. I forgot what chapter that they're in, but I think that they're listed as sub whatever in the table of contents. I'm not sure.
Maarifa, you got that book, right?
Which one? Asafo?
It's in Asafo.
I got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Got it right. I'm linking Dr. Baruti's website and everything to the and in the comments.
Amen.
Oh, and there's one book that's not in there for the older children. If we got high school, this sister right here wrote a book called Sheroes of the Haitian Revolution. Now we talk about revolutions, but we always talk about revolutions in Latin America somewhere with Hispanics or Asia someplace. This is us. The only successful revolution, especially when they created a country in the Western Hemisphere. And this sister is still speaking about it, but she's got just FYI, she's got pictures of the women in there, and another book, and it's probably on that list in the Safo. Jane Yolen, she wrote a book called Encounter. And for me, even though to me there's so many things that we have written, I don't have to reference other people. I'm not telling people not to read works by other people, but we don't know enough of our references, so I always talk about our stuff. So if I'm talking about a European author, white author, what have you, when I say Terrence McLaughlin's Dirt, or I say Jane Yolen's Encounter, then to me that's very important for our children. So Jane Yolen's Encounter is about. No, I'm not gonna tell you. Get it? It's priceless.
Get it? All right.
It's priceless.
And the other book,
I'll buy both of those books tonight. No problem. Dirt.
Hey, look.
Dirt by Terrence McLaughlin.
Okay.
If y'all
by Terrence McLaughlin. And you can probably find old copies on bookfinder.com, probably. Older copies.
Doc, man, I appreciate, man. Everybody, Maarifa, Greg, everybody, man. Doc. Probably slide off the chat, but I swear I'm so thankful to be on this. This was super impactful for me.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna get all the books, man. Yeah, I'm gonna tell Greg, you gotta send me all the books, man.
I'm taking notes, bro.
You know I love that,
bro. I got you.
You know me. Yeah. You feel me?
And we got a link, Morrow, so we can talk.
Maarifa, I got you. Hey, when y'all get off the chat, man, call me, bro. I'm gonna holler at you.
Sir. I got you.
I'll let you, Doc. You know what it is, man. I'm gonna get your number and all that too, man. I ain't
warrior.
Cut nobody out. I know Doc got the knowledge.
Do what you do.
I needed to hear. I told you it's affirmation from all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I need that. I need that, man, because got the whole community we locked in with. I need y'all to do that, and we gonna figure everything else out. You feel me?
This is so motivational. Like everybody needs this type of camaraderie, this type of conversation.
Hell yeah.
This type of discussions, especially if you're gonna be a warrior out here, revolutionary. Because the times is rough, man. And it's
but it's the leaders though. You know what I'm saying? Like the leaders gotta do
Dr. Baruti, Baba, Amin.
Yeah.
It's get out here and get it, man.
Hell yeah, I'm on it. I'm on it. You know I'm on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta keep learning to keep teaching.
Yes, sir.
Learn from y'all. You know what I mean? So we on all that. You feel me? And
yes, sir.
Most of the leaders I know, most
I'll
people
be
don't
back.
know them.
I'm in Atlanta. I'll be back after whenever they change my battery in my car, man. I'll be back after New Year's or something like that, man. But I love y'all, man. I'm gonna tell y'all that I love y'all. Thank God for this. Thank you for inviting me to this.
Yeah, man, we got you, brother.
Hey, appreciate y'all, man. Doc, you already know what time it is, man.
All right. And Baba Amin, I want to take this opportunity, give you the platform to talk about the new upcoming project you have. I think it's with the young ladies. Am I right on that?
Which one?
See?
Okay, so we got a lot of great stuff happening.
Yes, sir.
Brother mentioned books. A former student of mine, she's an adult now, registered nurse now. She wrote her first children's book, and it's out now, and it's dealing with cybersecurity, and it's called Agents AA Adventures, right?
Okay.
And this is it right here. I got my green screen on, but yeah. And as y'all see, I'm a character in the book, because I teach virtually, so I'm a magical character that teaches Black history online and teaches children how to be safe online. You know what I'm saying?
I like that, man.
It's called Agents AA Adventures, and so y'all be on the lookout for that. That's a great one.
So this is Baba. So part of this is about children in terms of them getting online and not and being safe.
Yes, it provides safety tips. We have like 5 safety tips that parents could use to make sure to monitor and to keep their babies safe if they're allowing their babies to get on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So this is really good, really great starter book for young children right there. Then one of our peers, Miss Cheryl Irvin, who has the new UNIAACL Academy in Broward County, she has a book called The Creator and Urugu.
Yes.
Okay. And it's a children's story that awakens warriors and gives tools to builders.
I've read it and it's good.
Creation stories, yes, and turned it into a very empowering children. This is a beautiful book, beautiful book, right? And she has an activity book that comes along with it, right? So y'all get with me, and I'll get you in touch with her personally, and she can get this to you. She's actually running an African Center school in Broward County right now. Also, I deal with a collective out of Detroit called the Fifth House Collective, and they curate, if you have children who like comics, they curate independent Black comic books.
Here we go.
Right? And I got one right now that I really love. We have a writing club in our school, and we're currently working on a comic book anthology, and we have some professional comic book artists that come through to help us. And this is one called Sankofa's Embrace, right? And yes, this one's called Sankofa's Embrace, and you spell embrace EYMBRACE. And when I tell you it's some beautiful artwork in here, man, if I didn't have the silly green screen on,
it's all good.
Yeah, but this brother built the whole comic universe like over the last 25 years of his life, and he just put out the first book, but he's built the whole African-centered comic book ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? With this, and I'm talking high quality writing, artwork, the whole 9 yards. So I just wanted to plug a few independent authors. You know what I'm saying? With children's books, because when brother was asking about recommended reading, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, what else we got going on?
Here we go. Because you just posted it with the young ladies, right? Like I just saw it. What was it?
Oh, you talking about the Be Like a Girl STEM
there you
program,
go.
right?
Yeah.
So we had a Be Like a Girl STEM program. We had the launch last night, right? And the Be Like a Girl STEM program is a virtual program where we have the sisters have come together. My wife and Mama Kamaria, they've come together, and they're exposing young ladies to STEM careers. They're bringing Black female scientists in, doctors, herbalists, right? And also doing some empowerment and safety oriented lessons, life skill lessons for girls with that group, man. That's powerful. The launch last night was powerful. We had our middle schoolers, 3 junior high sisters that go to Uhuru Academy. They did a presentation on sex trafficking last night that blew everybody out of the water. The research that they did, you know, because we're a heavy research-based school. Our children are researching at elementary school with us, right? And so they did a very powerful presentation last night on sex trafficking, and last week they did a presentation on the global perception of Black women. Man, to see a fourth grader in California, a 6th grader in Maryland, and an 8th grader in Texas come together and do a powerful presentation together about uplifting Black women. Ain't no feeling like it. I feel like I got life's cheat code. I'm like, wow, I get paid to do this. What's up? You know what I'm saying? But so that's a project that we have going on as well. And just be on the lookout, man. Uhuru Academy now enrolling. You know, we always enrolling. You know what I'm saying? Open enrollment year round. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, and you know, Akabin. Check out Akabin. Definitely in the Atlanta area. There is no institution like it. One of the things I brag about is that I got through the door. I'm one of the Mama Baruti let me in. He let me talk to us. So you really can't tell me nothing about me. My chest been puffed out since he let me walk in there and talk to his students, because you know he don't play about that. Him and Mama Baruti, they don't play about that, man. And y'all, our children are so beautiful. They so powerful. But y'all know this. You know, all we gotta do, warriors, is just stand up and say, this is what we gonna do for our babies. We ain't worried about is this gonna happen? Is that what's gonna happen is what we say is gonna happen. Period. Period. You know, and when we do that, as we continue to do that, we'll continue to get results. I think Bob Baruti can attest to this, man. The biggest way to galvanize other people is when they see you do it. Those who are true to it, they gonna come do it too.
Yes, sir.
Period.
Yes, sir.
If I'm having a fight, I ain't got time to convince Maarifa to jump in.
Right,
I'm in the midst of it. I'm locking arms with whoever jump in. Let's go. Who's fighting too? That's what we got to do first. And then of course, as people see, oh, they didn't get killed, but then maybe I can try.
Yeah.
Maybe I can ease in now. Well, we got a spot for you too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Here you go. Right. But we have to continue doing what it is that we're doing, and we have to reproduce ourselves. Make sure that we're training like Greg. Make sure you pass that information, that skills on to somebody who can take the reins when you move on or go to the next level. Make the enemy ask this question: what's gonna happen if I take him off the board?
Yes.
And make sure their answer is I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the only way, man. I take pride in actually hiring kids in my organization. As soon as they get 16, 17, 18, I come up ways that they can make some money, you know, being a part of what we're doing and empowering them with some resources, man. I take pride in doing that. But then I also feel like every bad leader, you know where there's a bad leader at when you can't find a successor.
Right.
So that's always focused on making sure we have a successor, whether it's from these kids that we teaching or it's somebody that's currently volunteering or in the staff. But we always got somebody that can carry the torch. And if you don't have someone that can carry the torch behind you, then you ain't really about this culture. You're not really about this building, this nation building. This is about your ego. So I definitely make sure, man, we have a successor around at all times.
Yeah, man, because we have to pass this on. The Great Pyramid took over 60 years to build. The first person, the people that started it, the first crew that started ain't the crew that finished it.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and everybody put their rock in the right place.
Right.
That somebody was passing on. The best education system to ever exist is the education system that spawned the pyramids of Giza. Because you're looking at 3 generations of a family that built 3 perfect structures that still stand 4,000 years later.
Come on.
Absolutely. Wow. And we got to do that hiring thing is extremely important. To me, that's the main reason why the children leave the community. They don't see a means by which they can provide for their family. They don't see a means by which they can get that car, that house. So they leave. And then they have to compromise what they believe.
Yes, sir.
We have to be able to give them what they need to survive.
Right. Absolutely.
That's why I love y'all talking about. Yeah, I love like what Morrow talking about taking over a community and buying up the property and things like that. You know, because I'm even practical things like corner stores are some of the most profitable businesses inside of our communities. We don't own one.
Right.
None of them. We're not competing. Right? We're not training our children how to run. Every school in the hood should have a school store, and the children should be running the school store because stores are big in our community. The average corner store in the hood pulls in anywhere between $350,000 to $500,000 a year on average. On average. Why we don't want that? Why we not competing for that? And when we get shot in the street, the Arab in the store don't even come out in March.
Right.
He ain't even gonna buy you no sneakers for the basketball team.
It's a fact, man. Like a lot of the ownership stuff that I'm learning now is I'm really getting it from our African brothers that are here with their own buildings. They're showing me the game. You know, some of my Indian brothers that own hotels, like they're showing me the game. They're showing me how they co-sign on each other for paydex scores and they get these business credits, and that's how they get this stuff. But they found a way to manipulate the system, but they ain't afraid to work with each other to do that.
What if that was high school? What if part of your high school requirement was to learn how to acquire property?
What if
that was high school?
I like
what
that.
If in ninth grade? What if in ninth grade you're having to make cold calls to people to see if they want to let their property go, or you have to figure. We need to know every abandoned building in the hood, who owns it, how long they own it, do they owe taxes on, what's the situation on every building in the neighborhood.
It's so real, man. I'm talking to a lot of kids right now about urban planning and urban development. Like I'm in these rooms with these designers and these developers doing design charrettes, and I'm starting to realize, man, we so behind the curve. These people are planning 10 years, 20 years down the line on our community, and we worried about making a program instead of catching up to where they're at. So now I'm telling these kids, we need so many more urban developers and urban planners that so we can be able to develop our own communities and be ahead. Because you go into these rooms with these dudes that own these development companies, these designers, they're all white people. And you might have one black urban developer that's actually going to be doing something to a minimal effect. And so now gentrification has to happen because there's nobody in that room at all. I promise everybody, I've made my decision. I'm going back to school for urban planning, urban design, because I already know that my impact is going to be on a mountain level. And if I'm going to do anything on a mountain level, I'm going to have to get that mountain education and use all of this education that they got in this institution against them at some point. And that's the only way to do it from my perspective. We're going to have to get up in these design charrettes because they're talking about making districts. That's what they're talking about. I got 140 parcels on 5 acres of land, 10 acres of land, and I want to create an art district, a music district in the middle, right next to the hood.
And these are things that our people have already done in this country before.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Prior to pseudo integration, you know what I'm saying? That's what we were doing. We know how we're already community builders.
Absolutely,
we are community builders. Man, get that information. But the cool thing too, and especially we work with young people now, what I found, information moves so fast. It's the information age, and you can walk up on a young person thinking they don't know something, and they already on YouTube studying real estate. They already on YouTube looking at cryptocurrency and looking at NFTs and that sort of thing, man. We have to create safe spaces where they can beat the enemy to the future. You know what I'm saying? We got to empower them with the newest shit, man. And you know, everybody, 4-year college ain't for everybody. Right. I know a lot of the continental Africans, they ain't even send their children to school. They get them Cisco certified. You know what I'm saying? Yep. They studying networking, they're studying cybersecurity. Then they take the Cisco certification test, and you 18, 19 years old, and you already pulling in 6 figures, you know, sitting at home out there on your computer hacking, getting paid to hack.
Getting paid.
Right? We got to build all this stuff into the menu for our children, for our community.
We have
Only thing stopping us is us. Our people want it. We just got to provide it and build institutions to provide it and protect the information.
Right. Let me, Dr. Baruti, did you have a chance to expound on, I don't think you did, on upcoming, I know you're talking about that book Identity, which as soon as it's finished, I'm getting a copy 100%. Okay. What is there, are there other projects, upcoming things that we should be on the lookout for?
Well, really, there's only one thing. Believe it or not, all my time and energy is being put into trying to get this book done. And I really hope to have it done before the 1st of March. I will tell you that on the 5th of February, I'm going to be doing a men's quarterly. Every quarter I do a lecture thing, hour and a half, 2 hours, and we talk about whatever the topic is. I haven't even decided the topic because I'm trying to get this book done. So that's like the thing with me right now, getting this book done. And in the meantime, to take a break, having conversations like this. This is I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to minimize this, but this was a nice break from the work that I was doing, you know, talking to people who have common sense.
Yes,
you know, and I definitely appreciate that. And the vision where, you know, our children, as you say, Bob, our children are ahead. Our children are ahead of them in the future. That's what I'm looking for.
That's amazing.
We're not going to see that right now, but that's what I'm looking for. So all the setting the pattern, setting the example of the ownership of whatever it is that we need to get, whatever it is that we need to get, and they can see us working hard at it. They can see us sacrificing at it. They can understand that we're not concerned about consequences. We doing what needs to be done to build. That's what's important. So you know, right now for me, this identity is very important because I'm hearing a lot. You know, who are we? Well, if you're going to be a warrior, if you're going to claim to be African, well, this is what you're supposed to be about. This is what you're supposed to be. And I will say also the next book, the one that's coming after that, which I've already started on, is dealing with the warrior spirit. I've found so many brothers who reach out particularly from who are locked up, who have given up on spirituality because of their experience with religion. And they understand, you know, the spirit is what propelled us. Spirit is what made us strong. I mean, you name me one person who we respect, who was a leader, who was worth his weight in gold, who wasn't spiritually grounded, wasn't heavily spiritually grounded. So that's coming next, and that's going to be hopefully a smaller book, but of course, focusing on one thing at a time.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you all for inviting me. I appreciate this space that you all have created, because we need this. We need this, and everybody. My experience tells me that everybody who's listening and everybody who's watching isn't visible, but they're thinking. They're thinking. Yes, sir. And we need spaces for you to think better in.
I can be the voice of the people, because I'll say this. Have said nothing these last 2.5 hours, but Dr. Baruti, Brother Baba, brothers, y'all have given so much knowledge. 4 years of college, and I'll tell you this right here. I learned more in these 2.5 hours than I probably learned in 4 years of school. Thank you, man. Y'all, your brothers deserve your flowers right now. Thank you, brothers. Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Appreciate you.
Much appreciated.
I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro.
And Dr. Baruti, you even gave us extra time. I didn't know you were going to be able to make it till 11 o'clock with your schedule.
Well, interesting thing happened. She poked herself in the finger with a safety pin. She was bleeding all over the place. I put the Band-Aid on. I negotiated a little bit more time then.
I got you. Next time we can talk about your book, complementarity. I wanted to get to it, not so much time, but that's something.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, I'm here, and this is a welcome space for me.
Yes, sir.
Just let me know.
You're welcome anytime, sir. Anytime.
Yeah. And I would love to get a link to that quarterly lecture that you have, so I can.
Okay. Well, I will be pasting that on my page probably after this weekend.
Okay.
I will try to remember to send it, but it's going to be on my page.
Yeah. No, we'll find it.
Okay.
No problem. Yeah. On the lookout. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, family. I know I do have to go. So I appreciate the invite. I enjoyed the conversation, and I hope everybody does well in this movement that we're doing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm glad we made it past the technical difficulties. I'm glad we put it past.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part. All right, good.
If I've never told you, Dr. Baruti, I absolutely love you, brother. Thank you so much for all your contributions. Like, for real, that was powerful.
Yeah, man. Baba, it took us like 15-20 minutes to get Dr. Baruti situated. It was looking bad at first. It was looking bad.
Wow. That's what's up. Well, hey, man, it turned out great. I enjoyed it, man. I appreciate it. If y'all know anybody that got any 3rd through 12th grade, they're trying to liberate their children from the public school system. And if they're looking for something virtual, even if they're not, y'all, we have the best virtual education experience for Black children in the world, period.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I stand by that. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, sir.
So don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid to send them Uhuru Academy's way.
Yes, sir. We will. Baba, I know you had a long day, so I appreciate you sacrificing, coming on, joining us, and having the conversation.
We did our thing at home, did our thing at the community center.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be taking my wife out, so we might still step out. She might not let me off the hook. I may still have to take her out. Man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
You can still get a good hour in. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Man. I got to do something. All right, y'all be good.
Okay, appreciate you, brother. Baba Amin, another soldier, man. Listen, I'm hyped, man. Tonight was a great night. Like that was
a classic, bro. That was a classic, man.
I took a lot of notes, bro.
I think
this series right here, I think this is the most notes I ever took.
Yeah, I had to I couldn't find my pencil. I had to get the pen out and just start writing it down, man.
I got a call on the phone with mine. I got every book. I got a couple of sayings. Yo, he said, you're not playing white. He said, you're not acting white. You're acting like white people want you to act. I was like, yo,
crazy.
That right there. You're not acting white. You acting like white people want you to act. Oh,
yeah. And then I didn't know, like I just got this book that he was talking about. I didn't know he went through all those health challenges just to write the book. So now I'm really looking forward to diving into K-Buka and see exactly the material, the information. Like this is gonna be. I like when I get the backstory, you get a better appreciation for the work that was put into it. So I'm hyped to read that.
Rhetorical ethics, though.
Man, listen. Soon I've heard, of course, Dr. Maarifa Ukweli, who created the concept. Only her and Dr. Baruti I've ever heard really expound on it. And I just know it's a concept that gives us so much discernment because you get to see people for who they really are. And we need that because we get okey-doked into these groups thinking they have our best interest at heart. And over again, it's like we keep getting okey-doked by it. It's like we got to be able to see this. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, what's K-Buka talking about? I told you to read that 1 year ago, bro. And listen, man, I have a lot of books on the reading list, man. As a matter of fact, I'm at least 75 deep on the. I've read a bunch in here. We all know that, almost 200. But I still have another 75 I haven't even got to yet. You know what I'm saying?
This is how Maarifa spent the whole show.
Yo,
run back. Right?
Greg was like, Maarifa, you just showing off now.
Yeah, I'm hyped. I love it because you don't get a chance to talk about books. You don't get a chance to nerd out sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
My man was like, I got that one too.
I got that one. I read all of them. Everyone we talked about except for this one, I have read. So yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm hyped, man. That was good stuff, man. Chris, how you feeling?
That to close out the
year. I don't know if I've ever been quiet like for 3 hours in my life. And
I was watching you.
Chris, I was just like, yo, my wheels are turning. I'm soaking it all in. I'm like, I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing, bro. Hey, man, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I mean, huh? Hey, I wasn't lying. 4 years of college. Man, please. I was just thinking, yo, as soon as I get out of this class, y'all need to holler at her. Yo, those 3 hours right there, I was just like,
man,
I cannot not listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that man.
Was powerful, bro.
That was hype.
Beautiful.
That was hype. I can't wait to. And listen, we're gonna bring FB Yip Yap sponsor. We're a proud sponsor of the Sacred Roots organization. I talked to Cat Waz because with this whole pandemic is still doing what it's doing. So he was like, what more can we even say about it? But I'm like, listen, we gotta hear it again, man. We get it. We gotta hear it again. So
hey, I've been telling folks all that. They're like, man, how you feeling? I said, I feel fine. I said, all I do is drink water and take herbs all day. I'm good.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna get to it, man. We can get to it. And Greg, we got some stuff we got to talk about later on. Give me till Sunday though, because even though I'm on this vacation, ain't really been no vacation, man. I ain't even gonna hold you.
I'm like, yo, I'm gonna tell you this like for real.
Yeah.
We had officer involved shooting, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we had Mia Goodwin die, the officer. Then we had the 14-year-old boy shoot the officer. You know what I'm saying? And now I just got a phone
issue at the Y.
Got the issue, had the fight at the Y. We just went to the Y. Just holding down. It was a big fight at the Y. So this devalue for life, and it's floating around, and this spirit is floating around this city right now. And my whole thing is I'm trying to remind everybody of 2016. Trying to remind everybody how everybody was on that they were on that post because it was that city. We had an officer involved shooting happen. It was on national, and how quick we forget that we could be that city again. And we gonna be that city when it comes to these homicides. If we don't get him, like, I shouldn't be getting the phone calls I'm getting if we have organization, like, for real, man. If the city has already invested in the organization to do community safety, I shouldn't be getting these phone calls I'm getting from principals, from assistant principals, from directors of Ys, from people in the street, from mothers that's getting ran up on by some kid in the street because they looking for her son. Like, at some point, this city's gonna have to stop funding what's not working. at some point, stop funding what's not working, because it's getting out of hand. The amount of phone calls, the county shut down they quarantine hotel 10 days before the year ended. They shut down a quarantine hotel. You know how many people are going to be homeless right now?
Yeah.
With COVID, can't even quarantine, have COVID on the streets. It's the devalue of life that's going around in this city, bro.
Yeah.
Speak on it.
It's terrible, man.
Hey, G, man, I'm proud of you, bro. Man, I'm hearing your name like more and more, like my homegirl 7 with mothers of murdered offspring.
Yeah.
Hey, my little brother who for some reason looks just like you, Travis Jackson. All your Jacksons must look alike.
Yeah, man.
Yo, hey, because I know he's always telling about your events. Like, yeah, man, I gotta make it to. I say, oh, yo, you know G too? I said, y'all look alike too. I don't know, man, do a DNA test somewhere.
That's that Jackson thing.
That Jackson. Hey, man, brother, but you doing your thing out there, man. Your name's out there, man. The work that you're doing in the city, it's out there, brother, man. So salute to you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate
all
it.
day. Much respect, man. You're moving.
Now
Chris,
bring that education to him this 2020.
Yeah, this we going. And even with Morrow, I'm gonna tell Morrow, man, if we add to the youth the books that in the curriculum that Dr. Baruti was talking about, we add that, yo. And then Baba Amin has. I'm gonna go down to Colombia definitely in January and to see the whole operation and get a real understanding of how he moves, so we can incorporate the ideas. Because he has great results with the young people, man, and his formula needs to be, replicated. Yeah, man. No need to reinvent the wheel. Bob,
don't have to reinvent it at all, man.
Boom. Here's what we're gonna do.
And just to speak, Anthony's reach, man. We was running this mental health awareness program. I was doing communities and schools, and AMO came through. We did the mental health awareness program with his charity, and it was like. Yeah, I had like 15 kids in there, you know what I mean? AMO came, bro. It was like 40 kids in that room, bro. Just the reach of how kids just want to get in his circumference and just get some of that energy of you made it out.
Right.
I just want a piece of that. You know what I mean? I want to be able to give you a handshake, shoot some ball with you. The reach, man. So I mean that wholeheartedly, man. When my brother's throwing stuff, man, we gotta support them. Because they don't make athletes like that, bro. They don't make athletes like that at all, man.
And Morrow always been humble like that too. He ain't never been no one to act Hollywood or nothing like that. At least not to us. He ain't never did that to us. Yeah. He coming over there. Hey, Chris, he used to give us buckets. I'm trying to tell you, he didn't take it easy. He wasn't playing. Man, he would stare me in my face and shoot the three. But what? I used to just. I mean, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I don't know. He was just nice, but yeah, man, sharpshooter all day. But yeah, man, we make good time too. It's only 11:05, man.
Only 11:05, man. I got so much knowledge, I don't got nowhere else to talk about.
Because originally he said you was only good for an hour.
I wasn't leaving this, man. It got too good.
You did say that. I just don't remember that.
Man. I canceled. I was like, nah, I'm here.
It was too good, man. You get Dr. Baruti on here. You gotta sacrifice and just get all you can get.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and then he validates us as young men.
Yeah.
He validates the power that we moving with. And sometimes you need that from your elders.
Yeah, man.
Validation of keep going, young man. It's all good. Keep going. You need that.
Gee, what you put right there, bro? It was like gas, bro. It was like you know what? I'm good. I'm good.
Chris, you good? You wouldn't be on here if you weren't good.
Making my ancestors happy right now.
Hey, I'm hyped.
That's one thing I like about our broadcast. You only get up here if you're doing the work, some way, shape, or form. Everyone's important. Everyone's valuable. But if you're a doer, you up here. You can talk whatever you need to talk.
Yo, but hey, I'll tell you this, man. I feel like I'm becoming one of the ancestors now because, in fact, Greg, I never tell you how I met Travis. I started mentoring Travis when he was in high school.
Whoa,
dude, yeah, he was one of my first kids. He was one of my first kids.
Chris is
ask him about when he was in East Meck. In fact, I just ask him how he met me.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he would tell you how I used to jack him up in the middle of the hallway in East Mecklenburg High School. And to see where my little brother's at right now, dude, it makes me want to cry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm one of his spiritual big bros, man. He allows me to be one of his accountability partners, man. And I'm 6 years older than him, but yeah, he got so much potential to even do more.
Dude, I told him he's about to take over the world, bro. He's about to take over the world. Yeah, he doesn't even know it right now. But I said, man, from where he came from and just to watch where he's at right now.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, dude, you only at 1% right now. You don't even know what's ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. You're right on point, man. You're right on point. Stuff. We got some good warriors out here doing some good work. I swear, I'm already changing my verbiage. I'm using warriors now. It's like it's over now. Like what? Yo, he said find the revolution inside of somebody. That was dope. Dope. That was so dope. I was like, yo, that's duh. Yeah. Find the revolution inside of these kids, man. They revolutionaries. Find whatever it is and grow it, man. Dang, that was so good, bro.
That's what we do. That's what we got to do.
I got some books to go get now. I got
like
$300 worth of books.
Yo, I'm
gonna order dirt tonight. I'm ordering dirt.
I gotta rewind. Who was the brother that he said that he talked to? That he says he doesn't do anything unless it's for the upliftment of our people.
I think it was Brother Cambone.
Okay.
But he named 2 Cambones. I know it wasn't Kobe, so it was the first one. I just can't remember his first name. But
this dude says he does it like how much toothpaste he puts on his toothbrush. I was like,
yeah. That was crazy.
This brother's serious. But that's the level of seriousness and the level of intent
and commitment that you need.
Like for real, just to get back to the source, man. That was dope, man. I got so much jewels, bro. It's ridiculous how many jewels I got. They got a problem 2022.
Right. I want that book dirt. I hope I can find it. Because he said
I want dirt. I want dirt.
Yeah.
What?
I want that book.
What?
Especially when he said it was banned. Sign me up.
What?
I want that book. Sign me up.
And get that Bobby E. Wright that essay that he had.
Yeah. So
that one that he had.
He has to send it to me. I'm a reminder. So
that look.
Yeah, we need that.
I'm looking up Bobby E. Wright while he talking, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, listen, this book, and for him to say that all these essays, this is only 32 pages, I believe. It ain't, but it's packed. But for him to say that the essay he has that Bobby E. Wright wrote that's even more impactful and powerful than these, that's huge. So I can't wait to see what
I need
that essay is talking about. That's gonna be
for sure.
That's gonna be
the psychopathic racial personality.
Woo! Let's go. Hey, Chris, man, how much time you gotta be in quarantine again? You gotta be there until January what?
I was looking like January 3rd, January 4th.
That's not. Also, you've been in quarantine for a minute, then.
No doubt, bro. So yeah,
it's only 5 days now.
I know, right? Hold up. So for all technical purposes, I'm good. I mean, they still say wear the mask if you're around other people.
Yeah.
Because they did shorten it. But remember, Greg, why they shortened it? They didn't shorten it for health reasons.
No,
they shortened it because of the work. Because because a lot of folks were laying out of work. So they don't care about your health. They just want the country to still be able to run.
Yeah, that's all. That's all they want right there.
Yeah, because one of my peoples is still in quarantine. They're not getting out to January 9th.
Oh, they just
must be doing the full quarantine.
They just got on quarantine. But the CDC came out like about what
2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago. and said they're showing it from 10 to 5, but then they had this exclaimer of why they actually did it.
But that's that had a lot to deal with New York and all of the people that was losing their job or leaving their jobs at New York, because New York made that mandation that you gotta have a daggone vaccine.
Yeah. It's amazing how a vaccine ain't, everyone who's the vaccine ain't vaccinating. That's crazy.
Isn't that amazing?
What do you call the vaccine that don't vaccinate nobody? Like, what do you call it?
Dude, I had this conversation with a close family member, like, we wouldn't have these problems if everybody got vaccinated. I said, yeah, except the folks that are getting vaccinated are in quarantine right now.
All I'm gonna say is ginger root, dandelion root. I got my eyebright bilberry.
Go ahead,
what else I be taking? I got my we call it cod liver pills.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't be playing games.
You remember they used to give us fish oil?
Fish oil.
Yo.
I used to hate that.
Nah, I say it like this. What was it?
Castor oil?
Castor oil.
Castor oil.
Clean
I don't play games over here. Like it's a daily holistic cleanse and every day. Like I don't play no game. I feel great. I had no problems the entire so-called pandemic. Now I also put the mask on. I never washed and sanitized my hands so much in my life. Like this, we're setting records over here. You know what I'm saying?
Hold up.
I don't play no games.
I'm gonna give Kid a shout out now. I got the coupon from Sacred Roots.
Because
20% off all online orders over $25 in 2022.
Talk. We are a proud sponsor of sacredroots.com. Brother Ketwell. We here.
Get yours in right now.
Right now. Act now. How much off?
20%.
20% off. Orders $25.
What's the code? This is like Chris.
What's the code?
Sacred Health.
Sacred Health. So code Sacred Health and get
boom. Hey, I gave you the cheat code.
That's it.
The cheat code, 20% off.
If you're still watching, go to sacredroots.com. That's roots with a Z. Sacredroots.com. Right? The code is Sacred Health. You spend over $25, you get what? 20% off?
20% off.
Let's go.
Ooh.
Let's go. If you're a man, you need to get that men tonic.
Yes, sir.
Sam has changed his website up.
Yeah, listen, he ain't playing with y'all, man.
Hey, man.
Shout out to
Greg. Greg, you hopped on it, huh? You got to get that 20%?
I'm about to get this 20%, baby.
Let's go.
Look, I see the antiviral formula right here.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
I'm about to load up on mine because let me see, starting January 1st, it's going to be at least 1 mile a day every day.
Say word. I'm with that. I'm not starting January 1st. I'm still on vacation. But after that, I got you.
January 1st, every day, 1 mile a day. Some of those miles with mad miles.
That 1 mile a day, like every day.
Go running with Travis
every day. I do. Yeah, he's same Mad Miles Run Club.
Okay.
I can do it every other day. I need that day of recovery for right now.
Hold up, 1 mile a day, bro. That's 8 minutes out your life.
Okay. All right.
8 minutes out your life.
I got you. I go every other day. Ain't nothing wrong every other day.
I said what I said.
I did that when I did my whole challenge that one time in October. Yeah, I was down to like I was less than 7 minutes a mile too.
That's why I said less than 8 minutes.
Well, hold on. I paid for it, so hold on. He talking about like I'm just going. It took me another 5 minutes to get to the whip. Like, what you mean? Like, you crossed the little finish line. I stopped my little stopwatch and was like, shh. I need like 15 minutes to get to the car. I'm trying to tell you, it wasn't a game out here in these streets.
Oh man!
Hey Chris, I ain't hoop. Listen, I ain't hoop in years, so it's gonna take me a minute to get. I promise you, in 2022 though, I'm getting back to the court. I promise you, it's happening. It's happening. Going back to the court. We got to,
bruh.
I gotta give some of these young people some buckets, man.
Hold on, bro. Hey, this is where I'm gonna say. This is where this is where I think I said, you know what? I don't think I got it anymore.
You know, stay in the post.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you. In fact, I know you know one of my other kids, man. Jared Evans.
Okay.
But anyway, man, still over East Mac, man. East Mac still hooping with some of these kids, coaching some of these kids. I told him one time, I said, dude, you ain't got nothing for me. I said, let me put this deal on you real quick. Dude, I get down to my stance. I'm there, hunched in my stance. I said, all right, show me what you got. Dude, I think this kid had hit slap backboard by the time I'm still down here. And you see, I said, you know what?
Tell them retire. Why didn't give him some cushion?
Man,
give him some cushion first. Make him. I gotta see a jump shot.
Bruh, like I said, I think he had already slapped backboard, and I was like, yeah, I ain't got nothing else to prove.
I got you.
So
I got you.
You said you making it back to the court?
I'm making it back to the court. So by the time June comes, I should be full tilt. Oh yeah. I still got the handles. The handles are there. The shot is there. Now when it comes to like how how long I can stay at 100%, I got like one game and not even right now. Ain't no game.
Now that's the thing.
I got like one layup in me and that's it.
Dude, you gotta sit down. You want to see your endurance? Go get an Oculus and play it. Yo, I quickly found out how much in shape I was, man. I was boxing. Yo, I got to like the third round. I was like, yo, you know what I mean?
That's something else I want to do. I want to get back into boxing, but as soon as I think about being hit again, I'm cool. Like I'm cool. You know,
do the Oculus. You don't really get hit.
Yeah, I don't want to get hit.
Same workout.
Rim shot will take me out. I'm done. It's all right. I'm on the floor.
Man. This dude say he's gonna hoop again.
I am gonna hoop though. That's happening. I play with some of the youth build folks, and we're playing 21. I almost won the 21.
You know what? I'll let you say this. You absolutely right.
Yeah, I almost won it.
I still feel even 20-year-old cats. I can hang with you. One game.
Yeah, I only had one game
for one good game.
Yeah.
After that game is over, it's a wrap.
Now full court, that's a different story, right? Like full court's gonna take me a little minute, right? It'll take me a little minute. I go up and down the court one time,
yeah, that's it. Full court, I got one game.
You know what?
One game to fit 21.
We gonna do this in 2022. We gonna put out a challenge to the youth, dude.
What we gonna do?
Old school versus in school.
Okay. I'm down for that. I'm
gonna do this.
How much time you gonna give me to get right? How much time I got?
Oh, trust me, you got time. You got time.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an excuse. The event together. I'll help do that. I ain't
old school versus in school. I think we can do this.
Yeah.
I think. Listen, if we don't do it right now, that's it. Right? We got to do. See, Greg, you still got some years left. If me and Chris don't do this right now, it's a wrap. It's over. These are our last hoop years for real.
Right.
This is it.
Nah.
So
the window is closing.
The window is closing. I'm telling you.
The thrill is gone.
Yeah, like I still got some speed. Still got some speed to me.
Thrill is gone.
But I can tell.
Nah, bro.
Oh, hey, in here, everything is still good.
Yeah.
It's from the neck down where it's like,
I got too many young boys, and I got too many young boys, and I ain't messing with them. I tell them all the time. I used to play with them 5 years ago. We be in the gym, we running the program 4 years. Now I'm just like, God, let me help you get to college.
Yeah, you got it.
You got this one. You dunking already? Dang, go ahead, because you're not dunking on Coach Greg. That's not happening.
Yeah, listen, I give you a cushion. If you hit that jump shot, you got me. I'm not giving you no lane, but if you can pull up.
Oh, but they can shoot though, bro. They can
shoot. They Steph Curry.
They can shoot. Yeah, because I'll tell you like this coming up, dude. We had like about one. You had like one or two dudes on the team that can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
All these boys can shoot.
Yo, before Steph Curry even got going, y'all remember John P. Key used to have his his church, and late at night, people be in the gym. He had his little league. Yo, I remember playing in there one night. Yo, they were shooting 3, 4, 5 feet behind the 3-point line way before step. Like it was. I was like, man, you go ahead. I let him shoot. What? Everyone's like, yo, you gotta get him. I'm like, yo, he hit one lucky. I'm thinking this is just he feeling himself. Nah, he does this night in, night out. He hit another one next time down the court. What? They looking at me like I'm a weak link. I'm a bum. I'm just like, yo. So I mean, back then, yo, even before that, they would shoot. Now everyone, like you said, Chris, everyone's trying to do that.
Shoot.
You know what I'm saying? And don't get us started on 3-ball. We ain't gonna talk about them, but traumatizing our life. But
yeah.
But,
man, they the boys gave Golden State the blueprint.
Trying to tell you, it wouldn't surprise me if one of them Golden State scouts, Greg, saw that team we played in that league and was like, "That's how we need to play from now on."
From now on, this is what we doing.
We should have known it when you call yourself 3-ball. We should have known something was up.
Man, we about to look. That Stop the Violence tournament coming to the Key Family YMCA. We doing these Stop the Violence 3-on-3 basketball.
When?
Man, early January, February, early February. My bad.
Let me know because I got the defending champs. So you just what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Maarifa, this is gonna be for the youth. This gonna be
for the young people. Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna be for like 10 to like 16 or something like that. 12 to 18. But then right across the hall is where you're gonna do the workshop.
I'm with it.
We already got it set up. Boom, halftime, all of them come over there to you, all of the kids. And then it's a wrap after that. Word. After that, then we good. Word. But Key Family YMCA, shout out to Joyce. That is the executive director over there. That's gonna be our new Stop the Violence home for 2022. Until these schools start acting like they need, us in the school, we're gonna be at the YMCA's.
Imagine saying no to a Stop the Violence campaign. That's shout
out to Concord Mills Mall, man. Shout out to Concord Mills. They kicked us out the kiosk. Shout out to Concord Mills Mall. They kicked us out the kiosk. They told us we couldn't do Stop the Violence at the kiosk, sell our merchandise, reach these young kids that be at the mall. They told us we can't come and do the initiative. Corny.
How you talk about talking about making yourself the enemy? How you going? Word? Stop violence. There was a shooting at Concord Mills. People come in saying stop the violence, and you like, nah, y'all gotta leave. Word?
Greg, you shouldn't go on Facebook Live and put their name out there, man. Who was it again that you said?
Yeah, shout out to Concord Mills Mall. That had a shooting there last year, and they still told us that we can't come there to the kiosk and do Stop the Violence initiative, sell our merchandise, promote our events, all of those things. They thought somebody was gonna get offended by seeing Stop the Violence.
Man, look here.
This is when we get to the demographic that we're talking about. They don't even understand Stop the Violence because they ain't even thinking about.
Dude, you should stop implying that folks should stay away from Concord Mills Mall, man, because they don't actually support community activities that would actually do some good for the actual community.
Come on, man. Forget Concord. I've been going to Carolina Place Mall and I've been going to South Park ever since. I ain't messing with Concord, man.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been a faithful when I do go to the mall. It's been Carolina Place Mall all day long.
All day long.
This is what I do.
Carolina Place Mall, for real, man.
Yeah, man. I don't even
supporting these cowards. Straight up, man.
I was laying the river.
Supporting these cowards there, man. Come on. Like and then the first day was so impactful, man. There was so many young men and young women that we were running into because that's where they go. They go to the mall and they go in packs, and we stopping them in packs. Telling them about the basketball tournament, telling them about this, getting their information. You know what I'm saying? Right. Trying to get a couple of people to do some surveys, like just spreading the word.
Right.
And it took a news reporter from Spectrum called. And they were like, this is so awesome. We want to be able to do a story on it. And Concord was like, what you talking about? We ain't doing that no more. So they was about to get some positive light for doing it. And then they were like, we don't want anybody. It's like, and it's this, if you think about it, bro, it's the same thing that the city does. The city does the same thing. The city could not acknowledge that we have a gun violence problem. The city could not acknowledge that, you know, young black men are killing each other every other day in a crazy rate, right? The city, because it ain't good for business. You can't be the top 15 growing city in America for millennials to come here from other cities, and the one thing that's hanging over you is you in the top 10 of human trafficking. You're a growing violent city. That's one thing. Those two things they can't promote.
Well, honestly, Greg, if you look at it, bro, you weren't contributing to the revenue, because the thing is, because if you look at it now, Charlotte can let First 48 come in and go ahead and let them show the homicides and the killing that's happening, but that's because, you know, that's money going towards the city.
Right.
But yeah, you didn't contribute to the bottom line, bro.
I didn't contribute.
So shame on you for being selfish.
What was I thinking going in there? I should have had a different sign. You know, it's okay. Next time I go, I'm gonna camouflage it. I'm gonna find another way up in the kiosk, man. They're not gonna keep us out the mall. I done seen kids in there selling used clothes at a kiosk. I done see the stuff I see at kiosks, bro. I'm like, you stop the violence kiosk, but you got balloon lights at this kiosk, and this is good. This is what you want. Balloons that light up on a stick. This is okay. Right. Okay.
That's what we doing.
That's what we invested in. Word. Okay. How many beard oil kiosks are you gonna have in Concord? Like, come on, bro. How many beard oil kiosks are we gonna have? Come on, man.
It's crazy.
Walking past dude, he think, you want a massage gun? No, Negro. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
I'm a roll out 11:30. I think we did good, man.
Yo, this was great.
It was great, man. It was a classic. It was a classic.
For real. I'm happy that we got so much done and finished early, because, you know, usually we can go till 12 o'clock, 1, 2. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we consume too much, man.
Yeah.
I'm full.
Yeah, I'm full. I got stuff to do tomorrow, and I want to at least try to get the last couple days of this in a real vacation format. You know, I look tired now. I'm tired, man.
You don't got no vacation, bro.
Yeah, man.
You ain't doing no vacation.
Crystal talking about, I came for the replay. Y'all still on. Now we getting off now. We're getting off now. You know what I'm saying? They got jokes, man.
They got jokes.
What we doing?
That was good though, Crystal. That was good.
Yeah, man. Hey, y'all brothers, hold it down, though, man.
Hey, yo, if I don't speak to y'all, man, happy New Year.
Yeah.
You know, God bless. Stay safe.
Word. Hey, tell Morrow I'm gonna hit him tomorrow.
Okay, I got you.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? tell him I'm gonna hit him tomorrow, because I'm tired.
Yeah,
yeah, man, I can't do it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I can't do it.
All right, brothers. Y'all be good now.
Blessings, man.
All right, man.
Y'all be easy, man.
Word.
All right. Broadcast.